Chapter 23-23. Lava City. Soon Vader, the city lord of Lava City, reached the near-ancient demon realm. He was soaking in a hot spring in the center of the city. This wasn't an ordinary hot spring, but a huge lake formed from the lava of hell. Ordinary creatures of hell would be burned to ashes if they fell in. However, as the leader of the lava demons, Vader, who had reached the near-ancient realm, did not care about it at all. It was no different from a hot spring. Furthermore, he could constantly devour the lava here to strengthen the origin energy of hell in his body. Whoosh! Just at this moment, a black talisman pierced through the void and arrived. It was caught by the ancient demon Vader. What? This is a distress talisman. A cold glint flashed in the eyes of the ancient demon, Vader, and a solemn expression appeared on his face. Very quickly, he received all the distress signals from the talisman. Immediately he became furious. Damn it! Damn Fengdu demon! How dare you! How dare you! Where did this trash demon come from? The archaic demon Vader bellowed. How dare you destroy the elite demons of my lava city, and even kill 2 of my immortal generals? You're courting death, courting death. Rumble! A terrifying aura erupted from its body, causing the entire lava city to tremble. It was as if a magnitude 9 earthquake had occurred. Everything within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers was trembling, and even space itself was creaking as if it was about to shatter. A terrifying stream of lava shot into the sky, piercing through thousands of kilometers. Then, it turned into a rain of lava and poured down on the ground, burning huge pits in the ground. All the lava demons could feel the fury of their lord. It seemed like it could engulf everything. Such fury could completely burn the void for hundreds of millions of kilometers. Damn it! Vader gritted his teeth. He clearly remembered that he had sent an army to the Scarlet Plains this morning to fight against the Frost demons. They wanted to fight for control of the plains and increase the territory of the lava demons. This wasn't a big deal. For the demons of Scorched Earth Hell, this was just a daily activity. He didn't expect his generals to succeed immediately. This was a relatively long war that might last hundreds, or even thousands of years before a winner was decided. As an ancient demon with an unlimited lifespan, he was usually very patient. However, such an ordinary battle actually caused his 2 undying generals to send an urgent distress signal, saying that 2 mysterious demons had interfered in this battle. There was already an undying lava demon that died under the other party's hands, and even it was in imminent danger. It might not be able to hold on for long before it was killed. Provocation. Without a doubt, this was a blatant act of provocation. This was a slap to the face of the lava overlord, and trampling on the dignity of the lava demon race. It was a great humiliation that could not be washed away. Although he didn't know where this so-called demon Fengdu came from, and what kind of demon faction he belonged to, there was no doubt that his actions had crossed the line of the ancient demon Vader. My lord. So sounds could be heard as undying lava demons flew over from the distance. There were 20 of them, and they immediately prostrated at the entrance of the hot spring, expressing their respect. They didn't know why their overlord was so angry, but they knew that something big must have happened. Otherwise, the Molten Lord wouldn't be so angry. They all quickly came over to understand the situation. There's a bastard demon who killed my immortal general and humiliated the dignity of the lava demons. I want him to die without a burial. The ancient demon Vader roared angrily. Follow me to battle and slaughter that bastard. Yes, the undying lava demons all shouted. They were shocked, and also understood why their lord was so angry. An undying demon had actually been killed. This was something that hadn't happened in tens of thousands of years. It could be said to be earth-shattering. Scorched Earth Hell hadn't had a fierce battle in a very long time. Moreover, as undying demons, their survival abilities were too strong. They wouldn't be easily killed. But now, an undying demon from Molten City had actually been killed. This was too inconceivable. One could also completely imagine why their lord was so angry and wanted to kill the murderer. They weren't afraid of this mysterious enemy, because in the Scorched Earth Hell, ancient demons were the strongest demons. They could be said to be invincible. No demon could kill such an existence. Even among ancient demons, there were strong and weak ones. But at most, they had the upper hand in battle. Killing each other was something that hadn't been possible for millions of years. The 13 ancient demons had run amok in the scorched earth hell for far, far too long. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Under the Lord's command, the demon army moved out. However, in order to chase after the enemy, only 20 ancient demons were mobilized. Archaic demon Vader also moved out. They used their extreme speed and flew towards the blood plains. On the other hand, in the Frost Demon's territory, Lord Osborne also received the Undying Frost Demon's distress signal. Although he wasn't as hot-tempered as the lava demons, he was indeed thoroughly angered by this matter. Demon Fengdu, where did this demon come from? To be able to kill an undying demon, this strength is extraordinary. He can't be a nobody, but why haven't I heard of him before? Ancient Demon Osborne's white eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. He was extremely wary of Fengdu, because to kill an undying demon, one needed to be extremely powerful. At the very least, one needed to reach the archaic demon level. Of course, even if one didn't reach the archaic demon level, with some special methods, an undying demon could still kill a demon of the same level. However, these methods were extremely rare and harsh. No matter what, Demon Fengdu was an extremely difficult opponent. It wouldn't be that easy to kill. But that Fengdu is too arrogant. Not only did he kill an undying demon of my frost demon race, but he also killed an undying demon of the lava demon race. He's offending two great forces at once. Why would he do such a thing? And what benefits does he get from doing so? Ancient Demon Osborne thought deeply, suspecting that there was some conspiracy against his frost demon race. Forget it, there's no point thinking about it now. That guy killed an undying demon of the lava demon race. With Vader's simple mind, he must be enraged. Maybe he's already charging towards the blood plains. Ancient Demon Osborne clenched his fist. With two ancient demons present, no matter what ability Fengdu has, he won't be able to escape death. Forget it, let's see what this guy is plotting. Thinking of this, he immediately took action. He gathered his many undying demons and moved together towards the blood plains. At this time, the frost demons also moved with great momentum. Chapter 23-24. After a while in the Scarlet Plains. They're here, Lord, they're here. The two immortal demons caught by Xia Ping woke up immediately. They were overjoyed. They clearly sensed tens of powerful Kais flying over from the east and west. With such a powerful aura, it was definitely a demon that had ascended to the near ancient realm. In fact, it wasn't just one ancient demon that appeared but two. Moreover, there were tens of undyings from both races. It could be said that they came out in full force. One could imagine the rage of their lord. He would definitely kill this arrogant brat to scare the monkeys. The two immortal demons were proud and wanted to see this brat's frightened face. They glanced at him and almost puked blood. This brat didn't move at all. It was as if he just finished dinner. He tidied up all the utensils. Luna also wiped her mouth and burped. She looked satisfied. Apparently, the dinner just now was delicious. This attitude was as if she wasn't facing the two demons, but a bunch of ordinary people. Pretend, keep pretending. When the Lord arrives, let's see how you two die. The two immortal demons gritted their teeth and cursed in their minds. Of course, they didn't dare to curse in front of him. If they made him unhappy, he might kill them instantly. It was better to wait for the Lord to arrive and teach these two a lesson. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In a few breaths' time, the immortal demons of the ice demon race and the lava demon race had arrived above the blood plains. Two ancient demons, overlord-level existences, were also flying over from both sides. They emitted a terrifying aura that engulfed the entire blood plains, shaking the void. It was as if the space within millions of miles was trembling, shivering, and crackling. This power was suffocating. The two immortal demons felt this kai's and knelt down in fear. This was a high-level demon they couldn't fight against. It was also the most terrifying overlord demon of scorched earth. You're Fengdu. Vader stood in the air and looked down at Xia Ping. From the help talisman he got before, he knew the appearance and kai's of the one who killed the magma demon soldiers. Clearly, this person was the killer of his immortal general. You killed a general of my molten demon race, yet you dare to stay here instead of fleeing. Your guts are boundless. Who gave you such guts? The ancient demon Vader's face darkened. He immediately sensed that Xia Ping's strength was only at the pinnacle of the sempiternal realm at most, an entire realm lower than himself. However, such a peak of immortal realm devil didn't run away, even though he knew a devil from the ancient era was coming. Quite the contrary, he stayed at his spot, as if he was waiting for him. It felt that this demon was too arrogant, not worried about its own safety at all. Did it think it couldn't kill this immortal demon? Instantly, a belly full of anger gushed out from the depths of its body. It was furious. A mere sempiternal realm pinnacle demon actually dares to act so arrogantly? Just what is he plotting? Osborne narrowed his eyes and became even more cautious, as if he was trying to see through Xia Ping from top to bottom. But in a short period of time, it couldn't see anything. Fleeing to escape punishment? Hearing this, Xia Ping laughed. A mere ancient demon is nothing. Do you think you can do anything to me with your strength? You're looking at the sky from the bottom of a well. I purposely stayed here for one thing, and that is to subdue you. I hope you can put down your butcher's knife and become a Buddha on the spot. I hope you can stop slaughtering and committing grave crimes. He put on a pitiful expression. Subdue us? Are you crazy or are we crazy? Hearing this, Vader seemed to have heard the funniest joke in the world. A mere immortal demon, like you wants to subdue an ancient demon? Who gave you the courage to do so? I'm dying of laughter. You've lost your mind. Do you know how powerful Lord Vader is? Killing you is easier than killing an ant. You still dare to be so arrogant here? You have no idea how much you've courted death. Overlord, don't waste your breath on him. Kill him immediately, and make him pay with his life. The immortal demons of the lava race roared in anger. They glared at Xia Ping with murderous intent. Osborne, although we have our differences, this bastard is too arrogant. He killed 2 of our undying generals and countless elites. This is a crime punishable by death. The ancient demon Vader looked at Osborne. You won't stop me, will you? Of course not. This demon also killed my generals. This is a blood feud that cannot be forgiven. I'm also here to kill this demon. I definitely won't stop you, Osborne said. Osborne was very magnanimous. Since this brute had taken the initiative to deal with this strange demon, he naturally wouldn't stop him. He could also take the opportunity to observe what Fengdu was capable of. If the demon Fengdu was killed by Vader just like that, then there was nothing to be afraid of. But if Vader suffered a great loss, he would be able to see some of this kid's background. As long as he didn't fail miserably in a simple task, there was no harm in doing so. That's good. I'll talk to you after I kill this demon. I can't stand this kid for even a second. He dares to be so arrogant in front of an ancient demon. He doesn't know how to write the word death. The ancient demon Vader bellowed angrily. Boom! In the blink of an eye he attacked. With a swipe of his hand, The void around him was torn apart. The surrounding space was like a piece of paper, unable to withstand his claws. With a whoosh, the void within a radius of 10 million kilometers was immediately torn into thousands of cracks that looked like long rivers. Every spatial river was surging with violent magma energy. This lava seemed to come from the depths of hell. It formed a river of lava that was incomparably heavy. It rumbled as it rushed towards Xiaoping. So strong! This is an ancient demon. The immortal demons saw this and shivered, their hair standing on end. Because scorched earth rarely saw ancient demons in action, they didn't have many chances to see their lords in action. They didn't know how powerful ancient demons were. But this attack immediately shattered all the immortal demons' hopes. Although peak immortal demons and early near ancient demons were only one level apart, the difference was like the difference between heaven and earth, like the difference between an ant and an elephant. It was just a single move, yet it tore through the void, displaying a berserk energy. This type of energy could easily kill an undying devil. It was extremely violent and domineering. Chapter 23-25. So strong. Is this an ancient demon? Its power is unimaginable. It really is boundlessly terrifying. Even us undying fiends would be beaten half to death in an instant. Even undying bodies wouldn't be able to block it. That's right. It's just one attack, and it has the power to shatter mountains and tear the void. Ancient demons are so terrifying. No wonder His Excellency could run amok in scorched hell for billions of years. The power of ancient demons is too terrifying. It didn't matter if it was the lava demons or the ice demons. Their hairs all stood on end. Their hearts were trembling in fear. They compared their strength. Facing such an attack, they probably couldn't stop it. Even if he had an undying body, possessing extremely powerful recovery ability, if such a treasure fell into their hands half to death within a few moves, that they could easily fight against the ashes fiends no longer existing. Instantly, they were all tempted. Undying fiends could it be that the reason this kid was able to kill an immortal gave up on their little schemes? Was because of this hell magic treasure? No matter how many schemes they had, Osborne, the ancient demon, useless against an felt that he had made the right decision not to make a difference in power. Small he felt that he had finally seen through his opponent's as this power struck Xiaoping, it turned out to be the demons felt the void within a radius of billions of miles. A greedy glint appeared in its eyes. They saw a huge dark golden bell emerge from Xiaoping's body. Fiend with this it was like a god had awakened from the void, emitting a powerful aura. Fell into his immediately. Wouldn't its dark golden bell floated above Xiaoping's head? He might even become the strongest fiend devil in the infernal scorched lands, and unify a giant umbrella that covered a million kilometers. No wonder you're so arrogant. Thousands of lava rivers bombarded down. So what if you have a powerful treasure aura? You're no match for me, Vader. Tear apart now hand over your life. However, and your magical when they bombarded the giant energy umbrella, the ancient demon Vader. No power was able to penetrate this energy barrier. He wanted nothing more than to snatch the bell and make it impossible. It would definitely greatly increase his combat ability. Even dozens of peak of immortal realm devils would be wounded badly. You want to take my treasure so easily? You really don't know how you died. He's not hurt at all. Ring bell of chaos. Some immortal demons were circulated his magic power. They couldn't believe their eyes. It into his natal treasure. It's this bell of chaos. The dark golden bell stopped his bell of chaos, trembled and protected him side to side and humming. All the attacks turned into nothing. Light rippled from its body. What kind of treasure is this? Spreading out to a radius of billions of kilometers. Attack from an ancient fearless divine ability. I've never even heard of such a powerful treasure. Rays of gray light swept out. There are affecting the surrounding area in the infernal scorched lands. Immediately, said that in some of the more powerful present, including the ancient devils, felt the hellish treasures. It was like a heavy hammer hammering into the depths of their souls, or even thousands of times their original terrifying. They can even challenge opponents their physical defenses, and directly reach dark golden bell is the legendary hell of their souls. The immortal fiends were shocked. Some of the weaker immortal fiends immediately screamed. They were hit by the gray divine light, which seemed to contain the power of laws. Their souls were instantly shattered into pieces. More than 10 immortal fiends died on the spot. Even the ancient demons Vader and Osborne, whose soul power was more than 1,000 times stronger than the immortal demons, were of no help to the situation. With a bang, their souls were shaken to the point of being dizzy, and they fell into a temporary state of unconsciousness. The power of the Bell of Chaos, a high-grade holy treasure, was much more terrifying than before. Even the ancient demons couldn't resist the power of the soulless light. Kill! Xiaoping suddenly attacked. He punched out, and it was as if an ancient divine beast had come into being. The punch landed on the ancient demon Vader. Boom! The ancient demon Vader didn't know what was going on. His body took a solid hit, and was immediately shaken into pieces, turning into powder on the spot. Immediately, a large amount of molten lava burst out in midair and spread out in all directions. It simply shattered everything within a radius of 1,000,000 kilometers. Potholes were smashed everywhere and turned into countless caves. At the same time, his soul couldn't withstand the power of the punch and was shaken into powder on the spot. The ancient demon Vader was dead. With a single punch, the ancient demon Vader was beaten to death. He couldn't resist at all. With a whoosh, Xiaoping grabbed the corpse of the ancient demon Vader, and it was devoured by the world tree. This was a precious resource that contained a large amount of energy. It could be refined into spatial fruits. He couldn't let it go to waste like this. What? At this time, Osborne, the ancient demon, finally regained a trace of consciousness. He also saw the scene of Vader being punched to death. He was so scared that his guts were about to explode. He did not know what had happened. Chapter 23-26. Run! Run! I'll die if I don't run. I'll die. Osborne, the ancient demon, felt an unprecedented fear. Ever since he ascended to the ancient demon realm and became the lord of a region, there was nothing that could scare him. Although there were many lords of the ancient demon realm who were stronger than him, it was still impossible for them to kill an ancient demon of the same level. He thought that as long as he didn't seek death, no demon in the scorched hell could kill him. However, when it saw Vader beaten to death with a single punch, it completely changed its mind. Even an ancient demon like Vader was killed. As an ancient demon, there was no way he could escape. If he could kill Vader, he could kill him too. This was a very simple reasoning. Although he didn't know what happened because of the dizziness, his instinct as an ancient demon warned him that he couldn't stay. He had to run. But before it could make a move to escape, it suddenly saw the dark golden giant bell shake again, and another gray light swept down. Whoosh! In the next second, it didn't know what happened. It only knew that the gray light directly bombarded its soul and instantly penetrated its body. No, no, no! Out of instinct, Osborne screamed. As an ancient demon, a high and mighty lord, he couldn't die like this. He struggled and tried to escape, but it was too late. Dong! The sound of a bell rang like the morning bell and evening drum. The void within a radius of millions of kilometers vibrated back and forth, penetrating countless layers of space. It was like the first sound of the beginning of chaos. With a crack, the ancient demon Osborne's soul was shattered. Ancient demon Osborne dead. This. Impossible. Our lord is an ancient demon. How could he die like this? Are you kidding me? How could such a ridiculous thing happen? The undying fiend devils were dumbfounded. Even if you beat them to death, they would never have thought that the invincible fiend devils of the scorched earth hell would be killed by Fengdu. First it was the ancient demon Vader, then Osborne. Osborne, the ancient demon, was the most wronged. He had been cautious and careful enough not to act rashly, carefully observing his opponent and looking for flaws. He had done almost nothing wrong, displaying the demeanor of a cunning demon. But it still died. There was no other reason other than the fact that he was too weak and couldn't withstand the power of the mysterious Fengdu. In just a few moves, his soul was shattered, and he couldn't even struggle. Do you want to live or die? Xiaoping looked down from above, indifferently looking at the remaining 20-something immortal fiends. A terrifying pressure emanated from his body, as if he was a supreme demon god that had existed since ancient times. Immediately, these undying fiends felt the suppression of their bloodlines. This was a fundamental difference. They were all suppressed to the point of prostrating, not daring to look straight at him. Want to live? Of course we want to live. One by one, the undying demons submitted, all of them prostrating on the ground. Although Osborne and Vader were their lords, this was the rule of hell. The strong were respected, and the weak were prey to the strong. They had no concept of loyalty. As long as their leader was defeated, they would naturally submit to the one who defeated their leader. This was the rule of hell. Therefore they were willing to submit to Xiaoping. Very well. then lower your soul defenses and accept my spiritual imprint. Xiaoping activated his golden crow of hell bloodline and immediately used his mystique, infernal god-fiend curse. In the blink of an eye, one dark golden talisman after another condensed in midair. Every dark golden talisman seemed to contain a drop of noble demon god's blood. They emitted an unparalleled pressure, like the ruler of hell. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. These dark golden talismans quickly reached the foreheads of the undying demons. They instinctively sensed the strange power of these dark golden talismans. Once they seeped into their bodies, their life and death would be out of their control. Some undying demons instinctively wanted to resist, sensing great danger. Resist? Do you want to die? Xiaoping's eyes were cold as he stared at the undying demons. A powerful killing intent emanated from his body. As long as these undying demons showed any signs of resistance, he would immediately kill them. No, no, no. Sensing this killing intent, the undying demons shook their heads. When they saw the dozen or so undying demons, and the two archaic demons that were already dead, their will to resist immediately disappeared. If they refused, they would die now. But if they agreed, they might die later, or they might not die. The choice was obvious at a glance. Walalab without any resistance, the infernal deity devil curse sank into the bodies of the undying fiend devils, and into their souls. It was like a seed that sprouted in the depths of their souls, turning into a huge tree, its roots reaching out to every corner of their souls, completely fusing with them. Vaguely, a dark golden swastika symbol appeared on their foreheads, emitting a noble and mysterious aura that was unfathomable. Success. Xiaoping was very satisfied. He could sense that the infernal god-fiend curse had complete control over these undying demons. If these undying demons dared to betray him, he only needed a thought to turn their souls into nothingness. They wouldn't be able to resist even if they fled to the ends of hell. With these 20 undying demons as his subordinates, the burning hell's power would probably increase. To him now, refining these undying demons into undying fruits was no longer important. Undying fruits weren't that helpful to his cultivation, so it didn't matter if he killed them or not. Having these undying demons as his subordinates would be of great help to him. If he could unify the undying fiend devils and conquer the infernal realm, and plunder more of the infernal realm's essence, he would grow even faster. For this reason, he didn't want to kill these undying demons. Otherwise, these undying demons would have died long ago. The undying demons all had looks of despair. They regretted it so much that their intestines turned green. If they knew that the talisman was so terrifying, they definitely wouldn't have agreed. But it was too late to refuse now. All of them could only admit this fact, because what was done could not be undone. It was impossible for them to go back on their words. Chapter 23-27. One day later, the ice demons and lava demons received the news of their overlord's death and the surrender of many immortal demons. The news spread to every corner of the two races. Impossible. Our overlord is an ancient demon. He's almost invincible in scorched hell. How could he be killed? This is too absurd. Many demons couldn't believe it. They thought it was a rumor. It's true. Sir Overlord is already dead. All the generals witnessed Sir Overlord's death with their own eyes. A demon shook his head, indicating that it was indeed true. He didn't want to believe it, but he had to. Many immortal generals testified. Their overlord didn't appear again. It can't be right? Just what kind of demon has the ability to kill Lady Overlord? Convinced by Xia Ping. Moreover, it's not just prostrating themselves in admiration. This is too unbelievable. First, they saw Fengdu City with their own eyes. Name is Fengdu. From nothing, his race is unknown, overlord, but he's definitely powerful. It rose from the ground in one night. Hell artifact. This was a miracle. It was with this magic treasure Xia Ping used millions of AI engineering robots. And the local material is so powerful that it can even kill ancient demons. Through universal engineering techniques, I don't know. He built Fengdu City's secret. Compared to the universe, no one has the right to know. The technology of Hell World really going to merge with the lava demons. It was like comparing the primitive era to the interstellar era. Of course, they were not on the same level. I heard the new overlord has built a new city on Scarlet Plain. After all, he wants there were countless demons in Hell World. It'll become our new territory. Destruction, not creation. How long will that take? Did not have the soil to develop advanced technology. His lordship, therefore, in their eyes, it only took one day. Of a city in a single night was simply unimaginable. To build a city that stretches. The reason they were most willing to serve Xia Ping, do you think this is of the dark god curse? Our frozen city and molten lava city. They thought that this strange curse was just a means to control their lives. It's true. I heard the new overlord took out many mysterious with the nether god's curse. There are more than 10 million of them. They would be able to control their souls. They can easily build countless buildings. They did not expect that after their souls fused into the curse. That city is now called Fengdu City. A trace of the infernal golden crow bloodline. It's unbelievable. After being corroded by the demonic god's bloodline. Although they were more or less reluctant to part with the former overlord, they did not resist transforming their bodies. Because in hell, the law of the demons rose to the sempiternal middle stage. Since the former lord was killed by the current lord, rose to the sempiternal allegiance of many undying demons. The sempiternal choice but to acknowledge the new even had a glimpse of the ancient realm. At the same time, if they had their original about this new lord, this would have been an insurmountable bottleneck. They had never heard of a powerful demon. The immortal fiend's aptitude had improved greatly, but no matter what, and they had obtained a trace of the orders of the immortal demons. This was a qualitative leap. Their original places because of this, to settle down. They were even more loyal to Xia Ping. For a time, there is no other reason why I gathered all of you here today. Ice demons I only have one purpose. At this moment, looked down from above, mansion. That is to declare war on all the overlords of hell. Looking down from above, all of you will set off and pass on my orders. Make these overlords surrender, submit, and accept their punishment. From today onwards, the entire scorched earth inferno can only have one overlord. And that is me, Fengdu. What? These words were simply earth-shattering. The undying fiends were shocked. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. They thought Xia Ping had gone crazy. What declaration of war? Declaring war on all the overlords of the scorched earth inferno? Wasn't this a joke? This was basically making all the fiends of the scorched earth inferno his enemy. This was completely unheard of. Even though their overlord had killed 2 ancient fiends, there were still 11 of them, and several hundred immortal fiends left in the scorched earth inferno. If they joined forces, they would definitely be able to crush their overlord to death. If this wasn't courting death, they wouldn't even consider it. No fiend would do such a thing. But to Xia Ping, this was only natural. The scorched earth inferno was huge. It was too troublesome to search for the fiends one by one. He might as well force them to join forces against him. That way, he would have a chance to capture all of them in one fell swoop. It would save him a lot of time and effort. Chapter 23-28. The second day. The undying demons of Necropolis immediately moved out. They were forced to become Xiaoping's messengers, in charge of spreading the news of Xiaoping declaring war on the entire scorched earth hell. Although they felt that doing so was courting death and seeking their own deaths, they had no choice but to submit under Xiaoping's forceful order and bite the bullet to do it. The reason why Xiaoping wanted these undying demons to personally spread the news was because scorched earth hell's method of sending messages was too troublesome. In hell, there was no universe network. Communication was done by shouting. It was hard to communicate over long distances. The speed of each message was very slow. After all, the scorched earth hell wasn't small, and the speed at which information passed between factions was too slow. Ordinary demons would need several days, or even months, to send a message to another place. Without the undying demons, it would take years for a message to travel from south to north. Even now, some demon factions didn't know about the death of 2 ancient demons. One could imagine how backward hell's communication methods were. Another few days passed. The undying demons from Necropolis finally brought the news to the leaders of the other factions. They went to every corner of scorched earth hell. What? Ancient demons Osborne and Vader are dead? And the one who killed them was just an undying demon. He even replaced them as the lords of the ice and lava demons. Some of the ancient demons were completely shocked when they heard this news. Because they had reached the ancient demon realm, they had completely comprehended the law of space. Their strength was practically invincible in the scorched hell. They didn't know how long it had been since they felt the fear of death. But now 2 ancient demons had been killed by a strange demon. This was truly frightening to them. If they didn't confirm it, they would have thought it was a joke. Yes, Lord Fengdu told us to bring you a final warning. We hope you can cooperate. Don't resist needlessly and cause huge casualties. The undying demon from Necropolis replied. Becoming a lord is fine. After all, killing Osborne and Vader gives him enough power to rule a faction. One of the ancient fiend devils laughed coldly. But what does this guy think he's doing? He's completely insane. He actually dares to send fiend devils into my territory and wants me to kneel and surrender? Although killing Osborne and Vader meant that this bullshit Paidu had some strength, there were demons in scorched hell that were even more powerful than them. You're nothing more than a fledgling brat. Instead of studying hard and keeping a low profile, you actually dare to boast shamelessly about uniting all of scorched lands? Do you really think we fiend devils are fake? Do you really think we're just decorations? It was infuriated by the news brought by the undying demon from Necropolis. He was just a newly born ancient demon, yet he dared to speak to them in such an arrogant manner, as if he was giving them an ultimatum. This was simply too arrogant. Not to mention the hot-tempered devils. Even the even-tempered devils would not be able to tolerate such a thing. This was already riding on their heads to piss. The Lord has already said that if you don't immediately surrender and resist stubbornly, you'll suffer a fate worse than death in the future, and your entire clan will be exterminated. I hope you can reconsider. The undying demon braced himself and said the message Xiaoping wanted to pass on. Scram! Scram immediately! You want to start a war with me and exterminate my entire clan. A fiend devil directly cursed, his face turning green from anger. He trembled all over. I'd like to see just how powerful this so-called Necropolis is. If you have the guts, come and cause trouble for me. When the time comes, I'll make sure his blood splatters everywhere and his corpse is torn apart. Let's see who's the true ruler of scorched lands. A powerful killing intent erupted from his body. He was simply unable to restrain his anger, shaking the void for millions of miles. It could be said that he was unprecedentedly angry, and even wanted to kill. To think that an inexperienced brat would dare to send an envoy to humiliate him, and even threaten him to make him surrender. He was simply too arrogant. That's how it is. I'll bring the Lord's message back. The undying demon was so scared that he hurriedly left, afraid that the fiend devil wouldn't be able to control his anger, and would slap him to death. After all, fiend devils were unreasonable. No one knew what the other party would do. There was no rule of not killing an emissary. Perhaps the other party would become angry and capture him in an instant. This would be their signal to start a war. Since they had already declared war, they could use this chance to weaken Necropolis. Thus, the emissary left quickly, not daring to linger. Haha, you want to unify the entire Scorched Lands? Look at yourself first. Just a newly advanced fiend devil. He thinks he has a bit of power, and wants to rule Scorched Lands. Reality will soon teach him how to be a fiend devil. Maybe we should join forces and kill this brat. Scorched Lands won't allow such a heretic. There's no need to join forces. He's just a brat. How strong can he be? Daring to cause trouble in my territory. I'll see his corpse on the next day. I'll make that bullshit necropolis turn into a boundless sea of blood. But to be able to kill Osborne and Vader, his strength is no small matter. He's not an ordinary fiend devil. He probably didn't rely on his own strength to kill 2 fiend devils. Perhaps he has some special methods. Enraged by Xia Ping's declaration of war. Devils to investigate his background. The so-called necropolis many was looking down on them. He actually sent an undying demon to scare them into surrendering. What a joke. Of course, some fiend devils didn't care at all. They felt that Necropolis was too far from their territory and couldn't be attacked in a short time. Even if they did start a war, the first to bear the brunt would be the fiend devils near Necropolis. There were also some ancient fiends whose eyes flickered with radiance. There were many crafty plots and schemes on their bodies, making their own wishful thinking. They wanted the other suzerains to test out this mysterious fiend Fengdu's strength. Only then would they have more assurance. No matter what, Xia Ping's actions had completely disrupted the arrangements of all the forces in Scorched Lands. It would set off a boundless storm and lead to an unprecedented war. Chapter 23-29. Veep, Fengdu City Lord's Mansion. Xia Ping stayed in the quiet room to cultivate. He immediately heard the system's voice. Congratulations to the host. This time, you have angered a large number of scorched hell demons and caused a huge amount of hatred. This time, you have received a total of 30 hatred crystals. I hope the host will continue to work hard. 30 hatred crystals? Hearing this voice, he was immediately happy. This time, it was obviously the right thing to do. He had successfully angered the remaining 11 lords of scorched hell. Those demons would probably want to kill him. At that time, he could not only get a lot of spatial fruits, but also gain more hatred. He could even seize the treasures of these forces. This was a plan that killed many birds with one stone. Master, this method has completely angered the demons of the entire scorched hell. Maybe if they unite, this is a powerful force that can't be ignored. Greenox was worried. It was natural for him to be worried. After all, those were 11 ancient demons, each of whom had comprehended the law of space. Their strength was stronger than ordinary sages. Now, if 11 ancient demons joined forces, the power they could exert was simply unimaginable. Fortunately, he had killed 2 before, which was a little less pressure. Otherwise, it would be 13 ancient demons joining forces. Don't worry, what we need is for them to unite. Otherwise, how can we have a chance to catch all these ancient demons in one fell swoop? Xia Ping said lightly. Since Master is confident, then I won't say more. Greenox nodded. He was just a little worried, but since his master was so confident, it proved that he had absolute confidence. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to do such a thing. And even if he really couldn't beat these ancient demons, it would be easy to escape. Hearing this, Corin sighed. His former master, the Star Sages, was only an immortal sage. In the face of ancient sages, he had to flee in all directions. But now Xia Ping could easily kill ancient sages. He could even face more than a dozen ancient sages together. Such combat power had far surpassed his old master. Okay, then let's wait. I hope those ancient demons come quickly, and don't let me wait too long. Xia Ping sat cross-legged and cultivated in seclusion, quietly waiting for the arrival of those ancient demons. A few days later, in a valley, 11 primeval fiends, and more than 200 undying fiends from the scorched earth hell were gathered. The entire valley was filled with a terrifying demonic aura that seemed to corrode the void for billions of miles around. The sky was already covered by majestic dark clouds, rolling and surging like the waves of the sea, like Mercury. Fred, a near-ancient demon, looked at a terrifying demon that looked like a lion standing in the center. This was the Thunder Lion demon, whose strength had reached the peak of the near-ancient realm. Even among the many near-ancient demons, he was one of the strongest. It could be said that Fred had great influence in the scorched earth hell. He was a man of his word, and he was hailed as the most likely candidate to rule the scorched earth hell and ascend to become an ancient fiend. Why did you suddenly summon all the lords here? Don't tell me it's because of the new Lord Fengdu? The ancient demon squinted at Fred. Only a highly respected ancient demon like Freud could gather them all together. Other ancient demons did not have such prestige, but even so, it did not mean that they were willing to listen to Freud's orders. These were two different things. Freud said, "You guessed right. I summoned you all here for no other reason than to deal with that audacious demon Fengdu. This demon's origins are unknown, and he is cruel and vicious. The first time he appeared, he killed Osborne and Vader. He even announced the start of war, wanting to unify the entire scorched earth hell and make us submit. This kind of demon is too big of a threat. We definitely cannot let him take root in the scorched earth hell and grow stronger. Otherwise, he will become a great threat to us." "Fred, aren't you worrying too much? He's just a new lord. What's the big deal? Even if he killed Osborne and Vader, it's not worth mentioning." The one speaking was the bull demon Lister. He was 10 meters tall, and his entire body was filled with muscles. He had the head of a bull and the body of a human. He carried a huge black axe on his back and emitted a violent demonic aura that gave people a fatal sense of oppression. He was the most powerful and violent ancient demon among all the demon lords. A swing of his axe was enough to split the earth and shatter the void. His destructive power was extremely terrifying. Therefore, he did not take Xiaoping's threat seriously at all. He only treated it as a joke. Indeed, Vader and Osborne are the weakest among the many ancient demons. Killing these two ancient demons naturally proves that Fengdu does have some ability. However, it's impossible for all of us to work together to deal with him. The one speaking was the goat-horned demon Otis. He had the head of a goat and the body of a human. His body emitted an evil aura, as if there was a strong spiritual wave that distorted the void and created an illusion domain. He had clearly appeared in the valley, but he looked extremely illusory. It was as if his real body was hidden in the depths of countless dimensions. No one could know where his real body was. "Shut up." Fred laughed coldly. "All of you have underestimated Fengdu. His strength is no small matter if he is able to kill two ancient demons. Which one of you can do such a thing? It is easy to defeat an ancient demon, but it is extremely difficult to kill one. Of course, I have carefully investigated Fengdu over the past few days and finally discovered some of its secrets. The reason why he was able to kill two ancient demons was because he had a powerful hell treasure. According to my investigation, Fengdu's strength has not reached the ancient demon realm. He has not comprehended the law of space and is only at the pinnacle of the immortal realm." He revealed an earth-shattering piece of information. "What? Is what you said true? That Fengdu is not an ancient demon, but an immortal demon? He was able to kill Vader and Osborne with just a hell treasure? What kind of joke is this? Is there really such a thing?" As soon as he said this, all the demons present were shocked. If Fengdu was an ancient demon and could kill Vader and Osborne, then it might be possible. However, Fengdu was only an immortal demon. There was a huge realm difference between him and an ancient demon. No one knew how much stronger they were. But he was able to kill an ancient demon with just a hell treasure. One could imagine how powerful this treasure was. It could actually allow an immortal demon to challenge a demon of a higher realm and kill an ancient demon. They could not imagine what kind of treasure it was. They had never seen or heard of it before. Chapter 2330. At that moment, all the demons present were filled with greed. They could not wait to snatch the treasure from Fengdu and take it for themselves. This was especially true for those ancient fiends. They were old and cunning, and it was unknown just how long they had lived and how much they had experienced. It was impossible for them not to have thought of this. Fengdu was only an immortal demon. It was because of that mysterious treasure that he could challenge those of a higher level and kill two powerful ancient demons. If the ancient demons could snatch the treasure, It would increase their combat power tremendously. They might even be able to fight against the ancient demons. At that time, they could really unify the entire scorched hell and become invincible. Fred, is this news true? You're not lying to us, are you? Since you know this, why didn't you deal with Fengdu yourself? Instead, you gathered us here? Goat-horned fiend Otis narrowed its eyes and revealed a suspicious expression. It felt that Fred was too straightforward. He did not care about the information being leaked and revealed the news. If it was him, it definitely wouldn't tell anyone about this. It would definitely head to Necropolis alone to kill Fengdu and obtain his powerful magic treasure. After all, it could not wait to keep such a powerful treasure to itself. Why would it share it with others? You don't understand, Fred sneered. Although Baidu is an immortal fiend, with that hell treasure in hand, his battle prowess soared. He could even kill 2 ancient fiends. I'm naturally confident in my own strength. The problem is that I don't have absolute confidence in killing Fengdu. If he sees that the situation is not good, he will probably escape. How will we find him then? That's why I wanted to invite all of you to come and deal with Fengdu together. You'll be responsible for trapping all of his escape routes. Do not give him any chance to escape. It indicated that it invited the ancient demons here mainly to seal off Fengdu's escape routes. As for the main battle, it alone was enough. It did not need the help of the other demons. Fred, since you dared to reveal this news, do you think you can still obtain that treasure? That's right. If this treasure is really that simple, then I won't let it go. If any of the ancient fiends were to get their hands on this magic treasure of the infernal realm, we would be doomed. The ancient demons' eyes were cold. Now that they knew of the existence of this mysterious treasure, they would not allow it to fall into the hands of others. Of course, since I dared to tell you this secret, I definitely won't take it for myself. I don't actually want to monopolize this treasure, Fred said matter-of-factly. I just want to study the fundamental laws of hell within it. If I can comprehend it, I might be able to break through and become an immemorial fiend. There were many powerful hellish magic treasures, each of which contained a great deal of the fundamental laws of hell. Generally speaking, the fundamental laws of hell were very difficult to comprehend. But now, the patterns of the laws had been carved deep within the magic treasures, presenting them in great detail. To ancient fiends like them, this was an incredible opportunity to comprehend the laws of hell and strengthen their ability to comprehend the quintessence of hell. It could be said that this was extremely beneficial to their cultivation. Of course, if you don't believe me, we can sign a hell pact to advance and retreat together. Fred smiled. After we kill Fengdu and obtain this mysterious treasure, no one will be able to monopolize it. Moreover, we will have the opportunity to take turns to study it. What do you think? Not bad. Your suggestion is not bad. That way, no one will be able to monopolize this treasure. Yes, and we will all have the opportunity to study the power of the laws of this treasure. It will be extremely beneficial. It is indeed a win-win solution. I have no reason to refuse. The ancient demons nodded. If they signed this hell pact, they would not need to be on guard against each other. If they were ambushed by other demons, the whole team would fall apart. After all, if this powerful magic treasure fell into the hands of any ancient demon, it would be a great disaster for them. No one wanted to see that happen. So after weighing the pros and cons, they all felt that this was the most appropriate method. They could not find any reason to refuse. Alright, this is the hell pact I found. If you all imprint your soul origin, it means that we have agreed to this pact. No demon can harm each other. Fred was already prepared. He immediately took out a black contract book from his body. It contained a powerful and unfathomable power of law. It seemed to communicate with the source of hell. The ancient demons stepped forward and carefully studied the terms of the pact. They could not find any obvious loopholes. They could not help but feel relieved and immediately signed the pact. Immediately, the 11 ancient demons formed an alliance to attack and defend. Alright, there is no time to lose. We will leave for Necropolis immediately and kill that demon Fengdu. We must not give this kid any chance to escape. Fred's murderous aura soared. His pupils were filled with endless murderous intent. He had planned for a long time just to destroy that mysterious ancient demon and reap countless benefits. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The other demons did not hesitate. Since they had signed the pact, they naturally did not need to worry about the other demons violating the pact. They immediately moved and flew towards Necropolis. An hour later, the demons arrived at Necropolis. Boom! Immediately, the 11 ancient demons and more than 200 immortal demons attacked at the same time. The powerful demonic aura suppressed the void and enveloped the entire necropolis. This power was simply overwhelming and covered every inch of the void. Vaguely, the aura of these demons resonated and seemed to condense into one, forming a huge demonic formation that drew upon the essence of hell. The space within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers quaked under the tremendous pressure, and the ground cracked and shattered. Is this necropolis? I heard that it has only been built for less than 10 days. But there is such a phenomenon. Bull Devil List was a little surprised. He suddenly found that the entire necropolis stretched for millions of miles. There were powerful restrictive formations everywhere that seemed to communicate with the essence of hell. Under the cover of such a formation, it was as if the entire city was a powerful magic treasure that could easily draw upon the power of heaven and earth. Even when facing the pressure of an ancient demon, it remained unscathed. In fact, there were even faint signs that it was able to resist. Chapter 23:31. The arrival of so many ancient demons, and more than 200 immortal demons, immediately attracted the attention of all the demons in Necropolis. Their faces turned ashen when they sensed such powerful presences. My God! 11 primeval fiend devils, and more than 200 undying fiend devils. Is this the full power of the scorched lands? Some of the undying fiend devils were so shocked their legs were shaking. It had seen countless wars in the past billions of years, but it had never seen 11 ancient demons working together against a single overlord. This was simply unimaginable, and completely unimaginable. I already said that Sir Overlord shouldn't provoke the other ancient demons, and should focus on developing. Who would have thought that Sir Overlord didn't do that, and instead provoked them from all directions? One of the undying fiends was trembling. We've angered the other primeval fiends, and now they're working together. Necropolis is finished. All the fiends will die, all of them. It regretted so much that its intestines turned green. If it had known earlier, it would have died in Xiaoping's hands. This was a hopeless situation with no chance of survival. After all, which faction could stop the ambush of 11 near-archaic fiends, and more than 200 immortal fiends? The entire necropolis would be turned into ashes in an instant. Enough nonsense. What's the point of saying all this now? We're all subordinates of Sir Overlord. We're all on the same boat. There's no way to escape. That's right. Now that things have come to this, we can only fight to the death with these demons. Moreover, Sir Overlord is very mysterious and powerful. He might not be killed. The immortal demons gritted their teeth. It wasn't that they didn't want to run, but their bodies were engraved with the Nether God's curse. If they angered Xiaoping, they would die even if they ran to the ends of the earth. Since that was the case, they had been forced into a desperate situation, so they could only fight with these demons. In this way, they might have a chance to survive and find a chance to live. All of a sudden, these demons were united against a common enemy. Meanwhile, in the sky above Necropolis, the ancient demons were still cautiously observing the situation. This Fengdu city is really amazing. It hasn't even been 10 days, yet it has actually built such a magnificent city. It simply has the power to seize the creation of heaven and earth. It's unbelievable. The goat-horned demon Otis' eyes gleamed. If it were us, we would not be able to build a city like this even after thousands of years. We do not know how many resources we would need. However, Fengdu was able to accomplish this easily. Could it be that he was able to accomplish such an inconceivable feat because of that mysterious treasure in his possession? The other demons were also moved. If that was really the case, then the importance of this mysterious treasure was probably far beyond the imagination of all the demons present, and its value was even greater than they had imagined. But what I find most inconceivable is that these Fengdu demons clearly saw us coming, but they didn't flee in fear. They even knelt on the ground and surrendered. Instead, they united against a common enemy and wanted to fight to the death with us. How strange. The bull demon Lister squinted his eyes. He was very familiar with the personalities of demons. They were afraid of death and bullied the weak, but were afraid of the strong. However, these demons did not surrender in fear when faced with powerful demons like him. Instead, they dared to resist. This was the first time since the creation of the world. He had never seen such fearless demons. Moreover, he had seen these demons before. They were all from the Lava Demon tribe and the Frost Demon tribe. They were no different from other demons. It had only been less than 10 days, but they had changed so much. It was unbelievable. No matter what this demon Fengdu is up to, we will first destroy Fengdu City and kill all the demons in Fengdu City. Then we will force Fengdu out. If anyone dares to resist, we will kill them all. Phyllide laughed coldly. A terrifying murderous aura and a violent aura were emitted from his body. He was like the king of all beasts, a demon that ruled over everything. The surrounding void trembled. He suddenly attacked, and a large palm slammed toward Fengdu City. Boom! In an instant, with Phyllide as the center, the void within a radius of 10 million miles was torn apart. The surrounding space was like a piece of paper. It could not withstand the golden lion claw at all. With a whoosh, the void within a radius of 10 million miles was immediately torn into thousands of cracks that looked like long rivers. Every spatial river was surging with violent black lightning energy. The black lightning seemed to be the power of the thunder tribulation from the depths of hell. It formed an extremely heavy lightning river that rumbled and blasted toward Fengdu City. As expected of Phyllide, a peak demon from the Thunder Lion demon tribe, he was born with the power of lightning. His attack was so powerful, he might have touched the bottleneck of the medieval demon tribe. The pupils of a near-ancient demon tribe shrank. Even he felt a great threat from this slap. Countless lightning bolts fell, and it was enough to shatter countless layers of spatial barriers. It is too difficult to touch the bottleneck of the medieval demon tribe. To advance to the medieval realm, one must comprehend the law of time. This is a path to the heavens. It is not so easy to touch. Although it is just one step, the difference is like heaven and earth. However, looking at Phyllide, he is indeed closer to the medieval realm than all of us near-ancient demons. Although the bull demon Lister was arrogant, he had to admit that Phyllide was very powerful. Such a ferocious attack won't kill Fengdu in an instant, right? I think we should capture him alive and torture him to dig out more secrets from him. The goat demon Otis revealed a sinister expression. He felt that this mysterious demon Fengdu must have a great secret. Firstly, its origin, and secondly, the treasures of hell on it. These were all things worth researching. If they could find out Fengdu's secret, they might be able to obtain more benefits. Don't worry, Phyllide will definitely know what he is doing. He will not kill this demon instantly. He will leave him alive. The other demons were calm. They trusted in Phyllide's control of power. Boom! Just as thousands of lightning rivers were about to bombard Necropolis, a huge dark golden bell appeared out of thin air. It expanded against the wind and towered in the sky, directly bombarding the lightning rivers. This was Xiaoping's life treasure, the Bell of Chaos. When the near-ancient demons arrived at Fengdu City, he immediately noticed them. Therefore, when the near-ancient demons wanted to attack Fengdu City, he immediately retaliated. Chapter 2332. Whoosh, the bell of chaos hovered above Necropolis and began to spin. Chaotic air currents emanated from its body, and everything within 1,000,000 kilometers seemed to have turned into a chaotic zone. Dong dong dong. At this moment, thousands of lightning rivers rushed over and ruthlessly bombarded the chaotic air currents. However, the extremely violent lightning energy was immediately minced up by the chaotic air currents as soon as it entered the domain of chaos. All of the lightning energy was obliterated, unable to harm the Bell of Chaos. Is this the mysterious hell artifact that killed Osborne and Vader? It's indeed extraordinary. Fred narrowed his eyes. Although he didn't believe that his attack could kill Fengdu Necropolis, it was inconceivable that his attack could be so easily blocked. How powerful! It can even block Fred's lightning divine ability so easily. This artifact is quite powerful. No wonder it could kill 2 near-ancient demons. A mere immortal demon is so powerful even with this artifact. If it falls into my hands, won't I be able to ascend to the heavens? In the distance, many demons also witnessed this scene, and they were also shocked. Previously, they were still in a state of half-believing and half-doubting Fred's information. Now, however, they were certain that this kid had a powerful artifact on him. Greed immediately appeared on their faces. They wanted nothing more than to snatch the artifact for themselves. Not bad. Xiaoping stood in the air with his hands clasped behind his back. It seems that you've received my notice. Now, all of you are lining up and coming to Necropolis. Are you planning to surrender? It seems that you know when to advance and retreat. You can weigh the pros and cons. However, even if you surrender and become my slaves, you won't be able to obtain a high status in a short time. You'll need to earn merits to be promoted. After all, Necropolis has its own rules. Rules my ass. A near-ancient demon cursed. Who's lining up to surrender to you? Even if you're arrogant, there should be a limit. Don't you know how big your face is? Xiaoping's words almost angered him to death. These demons were clearly here to cause trouble, but this guy actually thought that they were here to surrender. He even started arranging jobs for them, wanting to exploit them like slaves. What did he take these ancient demon lords to be? Even if they really surrendered, they would be treated extremely well. However, this brat wanted them to work hard and earn merits, acting as if they were slaves to a master. It simply wanted to slap this brat's face. Don't waste words with this kid. Kill him immediately. With such a powerful magic treasure, I can't even tell north from south anymore. In a bit, I'll let you see that realms are everything. In the end, external objects are just external objects. They won't be able to help you at all. The ancient demons were enraged and immediately attacked Xiaoping. Ice Tyrant Blade. Suddenly, a snow-white ancient demon pulled out a white blade from his body and used all the demon's power in his body to slash at the ancient demon. The saber contained an unparalleled saber aura, which seemed to be able to split the sky in half. The saber aura swept across 3,000 miles, and thousands of layers of space were instantly torn apart. At the same time, the saber chi contained the power of ice, capable of freezing everything. Even space itself seemed to be completely frozen. Demonic light of 10,000 manifestations. An ancient demon in a black robe, whose body looked like black fog, had thousands of demonic eyes, each of which shot out tens of thousands of beams of black light. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Billions of beams of black light shot out, covering the sky and land. They were silent, as if they were riddling the space with holes. The surroundings were filled with a deathly stillness that could pierce through everything. Demonic Shadow Fist. Another ancient demon attacked. It was a strength bull demon. Its body was like a small mountain, and every inch of its muscles contained explosive power. It could be said to be the strongest ancient demon, with the power to move mountains. At the same time, it emitted a terrifying Yin energy that seemed to bring death and destruction. A dong sounded out as the Power Ox demon punched out. Boundless baleful earth chi and Yin chi gathered together and condensed into a terrifying fist image in the air. It was as if this fist had shattered the space. Countless demons cried out in grief, and at the same time, it activated the power of hell, causing the earth to shake and mountains to collapse. The 3 great ancient fiends attacked from 3 different directions, not giving Xiaoping any chance to catch his breath. Ring bell of chaos. Xiaoping did not even look at it. The bell of chaos hovering above his head immediately activated this natal magic treasure. Clang, 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 the bell of chaos immediately shook left and right. From the depths of its body, thousands of layers of the power of laws appeared. Innumerable law seals appeared and spread out in all directions. In an instant, the layers of solidified laws of sound turned into visible ripples that spread out over 1,000,000 kilometers. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, the power of the laws of sound bombarded the bodies of the three ancient demons, instantly shattering all of their skills. All of their demonic powers were crushed and turned into dust. In fact, this soundwave power was silent. It vibrated hundreds of millions of times, piercing through the layers of space to reach the bodies of the three ancient fiends. The strength bull demon and the other two ancient demons were caught off guard. Their internal organs were injured, and even their souls were severely injured. They could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. They were severely injured on the spot. At the same time, the powerful power of sound bombarded the bodies of the three ancient demons like a landslide and a tsunami, pushing them away like a rubber ball. Crash! Immediately, their bodies scraped across the ground, leaving a trail that stretched for hundreds of thousands of kilometers. They smashed through countless mountains, which reduced the impact and temporarily survived. Impossible! We three ancient demons joined forces, but we are still no match for it. I'm the strength bull demon. I have infinite strength, but I can't even withstand a single attack. This is too much. No matter how powerful this magic treasure is, there should be a limit. The strength bull demon and the other two ancient demons were heavily injured and coughed up blood. They struggled to get up from the deep pit with pale faces. They could not believe what had just happened. The power of the three ancient demons joined forces was simply earth-shattering. Yet, they could not withstand a single attack from the mysterious giant bell. They were severely injured on the spot. Moreover, the power of the sound wave ignored all spatial defenses and penetrated deep into their souls, injuring their souls. If they were attacked again, their souls might be shattered into countless pieces. Chapter 2333. Are you really ancient demons? How can you all be so weak? You can't even withstand a single ring of the bell. Don't tell me all of you are fake. Xiaoping blinked his eyes and looked at the mighty ox devil and the other ancient demons in confusion. This bastard. Who's fake? Your whole family is fake. What are you talking about? Seeing Xiaoping's gaze, the bulls and the demons almost vomited blood. What was that look? Why did it look like he was pitying them? They were incomparably frantic. They simply couldn't explain this kind of thing. Why were they so easily defeated by this mysterious devil Tsangdu? This was truly unimaginable. Fake your sister. An ancient demon jumped out. You're talking big. A puny immortal demon dares to talk big to ancient demons? You don't even know how to write the word death. Do you think you can strut around in front of us by relying on a powerful magic treasure? You're delusional. Idiot. Xiaoping looked at the other party in disdain and disdain. Fengdu, you're too arrogant. Another archaic fiend roared. In front of 11 archaic fiends like us, all of your tricks are useless. Nothing you do will work. The only way for you to survive is to kneel, surrender, and offer up this magic treasure with both hands. Otherwise, not only will you die without a burial place, but all the demons in Fengdu will also die. All the friends and family you know will die without a complete corpse, and your entire clan will be exterminated. Its body was overflowing with killing intent. It was extremely violent and tyrannical. No need to say anything. This is not a one-on-one fight. It's a war. We'll do anything. Yes. Let's work together and chop off his head. Then we'll take all his treasures. Fengdu, death is your only fate. The demons roared. They could clearly feel the threat from Xiaoping. If they didn't take this seriously and attack together, some of them might die. Boom, the remaining 7 or 8 demons, and more than 200 immortal demons released mountainous auras that almost solidified. It was as if Mount Tai was pouring down, suppressing everything within 1 billion kilometers. It was as if every corner was filled with a mercury-like pressure. There was nowhere to hide. and the ground was being crushed. Creaking sounds rang out as countless cracks appeared. Whoosh! Whoosh! In an instant, spatial domains came crushing over like projections of worlds. Perhaps they were flames, lightning, sword chi, or demonic chi. But every single one of them was filled with extreme destructive power. These demons were completely enraged. They didn't want to waste any more words with Xiaoping. They used all their power to destroy him. How can this be? They're too strong. We're no match for them. So many immortal demons, and immortal demons working together. Anyone who comes will die. We're dead. We're dead for sure. No one can save us now. Countless demons in Necropolis trembled at the sight. They could feel the unparalleled power. Even the slightest bit of spatial storm would be enough to crush them into powder. Even a demon at the peak of ancient times would probably die without a complete corpse in the face of such an attack. They couldn't find any possibility of survival. Come out, karmic barrier. Xiaoping waved his hand, and one of his hellish treasures, the Book of Karma, flew out and transformed into a huge dark gold tome. Whoosh! The pages of the tome flipped, and from each page flew out a dense array of hellish characters. Finally, they formed a supreme hellish scripture. The scriptures of hell gathered together to form a transparent energy barrier that looked like the patterns of an ancient tortoise shell. In the blink of an eye, it covered the entirety of Necropolis, covering every nook and cranny. Vaguely, the translucent barrier seemed to contain the laws of karma. An aura that could reverse life and death, and reincarnation filled the air. Bang! 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 In the next second, the attacks of the immortal demons and primeval demons landed on the karmic barrier. All of their divine abilities exploded at this moment. Immediately, the power of the divine ability was surrounded by the karma barrier. It was as if it had fallen into a sponge. All of the power was devoured by the karma barrier, and none of the power leaked out. Every cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause. A life for a life. Karmic reincarnation, reverse right and wrong. Xiaoping formed a seal with both hands. At the same time, he poured his magic power into the Book of Karma, activating its rebounding power. Whoosh! 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 The karmic barrier activated its rebounding power. All of the divine abilities were rebounded back to the immortal demons and primeval demons. Damn, what's going on? Why are our attacks being rebounded? Is this a joke? One of the immortal demons was dumbfounded. He couldn't believe his eyes. To be honest, he had lived for countless years, but he had never seen any power that could reflect his own power. At most, it could completely cancel it out or dodge it. But now, all of their divine abilities were being rebounded back to him. It was like karma. This wasn't any divine ability. This was the purest power of laws. It contained the fundamental power of hell. What kind of hell treasure is this? It can reflect our attacks. If this continues, who can fight him? And didn't he only have one treasure? Why does he have a second one? The immortal demons were dumbfounded. Having a powerful hell treasure was enough to make people crazy with jealousy. But this kid had a second one, and it even had rebounding power. It could be said that with this magic treasure in hand, it could reflect the power of all divine abilities, and it was simply undefeatable. Dodge, hurry up and dodge or we'll die. Just then, one of the immortal demons screamed, his face pale. He could sense how terrifying this power was. This power was the result of them using all of their power to kill Xiaoping. No one knew the power of this attack better than they did. Since this kind of power could kill all ancient demons, it was only natural that it could also kill them all. To be honest, being able to create a nuclear bomb didn't mean they had the power to stop it. Unfortunately, at this moment, it was already too late, because the speed of the rebound exceeded their imaginations. While they were still completely stunned, countless divine abilities tore through space and blasted over. Chapter 2334. Rumble. Countless divine powers exploded, almost tearing this space apart. Terrifying destructive power was produced in every corner. It was as if planets were exploding, and there were destructive waves everywhere. The ancient demons and even the undying demons couldn't withstand such destructive power. Their bodies were heavily injured, and even their souls were injured. Many of the weaker undying fiends were instantly crushed, their souls shattered. Even the ancient demons, who were far stronger than the undying demons, couldn't withstand this attack. The spatial barriers around them were torn apart, and their bodies were sent flying. Poochie. After a few sounds, the ancient demons were heavily injured. They coughed up large amounts of blood, and their auras were weak. They looked extremely miserable, as if they were half dead. Not bad. No wonder it's one of the strongest treasures of hell. Even without removing the seal, the power it can unleash is extraordinary. Xiaoping was very satisfied with the power of the Book of Karma. This was just a small test, and it instantly injured the demons, saving him a lot of effort. This kind of power was basically giving them back what they did to them. With the karmic barrier of the Book of Karma, as long as the enemy's strength did not surpass his by too much, he would be able to withstand their attacks unscathed, placing him in an invincible position. He could even take the opportunity to counterattack and catch the enemy off guard. Originally, if he wanted to kill these ancient demons, he didn't know how much effort it would take. Maybe some of them would see the situation wasn't good and run away. But it was different now. After the karma barrier heavily injured them, it wouldn't be easy to escape. Kill. Therefore, seeing the miserable state these demons were in, Xiaoping had no intention of showing mercy. Instead, this was a chance to kill them all, so he slapped out with his palm. Supreme spell, Yin-Yang tablet breaking palm. In an instant, a sky-covering hand came crashing down. It was as if the yin and yang energies had gathered together, forming the symbol of Tai Chi. It simply covered the sky and twisted the earth. Vaguely, the patterns of this palm were extremely clear, as if they contained countless yin and yang runes. They emitted the energies of yin and yang, life and death, cosmos, chaos, and so on. Dong! This palm strike landed on Bull Demon Wrist's body. The violent energy penetrated through his powerful body and seeped into the depths of his soul. The terrifying yin and yang qi obliterated his soul. Impossible. I'm Lister, the famous bull demon, an existence with the qualifications to become an ancient demon. How could I be slapped to death by a single palm? How is this possible? Block it for me. The bull demon List's expression was ferocious. He roared angrily and used all his strength. All the cells in his body erupted with terrifying strength in an attempt to counteract this force. However, such a method was like an ant trying to shake a tree. With a loud boom, Lister let out a blood-curdling scream. The vast distance had destroyed all of his resistance, and he took the hit head-on. His entire body shattered like glass. Even its soul had been completely shattered in an instant, and its entire body had been reduced to dust. Bull Demon Lister dead. Lister! My lord! Damned Fengdu, you actually dared to kill Lord Wrist. You're courting death. Kill him. We must kill him, and tear him to pieces. The ancient fiend devils, and the undying fiend devils stared with wide eyes. They hadn't expected the famous ancient fiend devil to be killed by this monster with a single move. He couldn't even struggle, and even his soul was crushed. Earlier, they had planned to besiege the fiend Fengdu necropolis and completely annihilate it with the might of a thunderbolt. Then, they would snatch the magical treasures from hell and split the spoils. However, they didn't expect that not long after the battle started, one of the ancient demons was killed with a single palm strike. There was no way for him to revive. Kill me? What a joke. You don't know what kind of person you're facing. All of you must die. Xiaoping sneered. He didn't show mercy after gaining the upper hand and attacked again. Supreme Mystique, Lightning Fist. He operated the Chaos Thunder art in the depths of his body. His entire body was circulating the power of thunder and lightning. It was as if his entire body had been elemental, and he had completely turned into a bolt of lightning. He exuded an aura that made people's hearts palpitate. Thunder crackled around him, With a whoosh, he punched out at the two demons nearby. The violent power of thunder gathered together, turning into a lightning spear that pierced through the void river, stretching for tens of thousands of kilometers. Dong! In just a single strike, the power of tribulation thunder condensed into a spear that instantly pierced through the two ancient fiends in front of Xiaoping, nailing them in midair and causing blood to spray out in all directions. No, 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 save me, save me. Impossible, I'm a mighty ancient demon, an unchanging existence. I'm the lord of billions of demons. How can I die like this? This is impossible. The two ancient demons screamed, their faces filled with terror. They truly understood what it meant to be invincible, what it meant to feel fear. But even though they screamed and sent out signals for help, none of the demons nearby could save them. With a loud bang, violent thunder energy erupted from the bodies of the two ancient demons. The terrible thunder tribulation instantly pierced through the souls of the two ancient demons. Immediately, their souls crumbled and were completely annihilated. Xiaoping stood in the void, emitting an abyssal aura like a god. All the demons were silent when they saw him, as if they were looking at the god of the underworld. Dead, another two ancient demons have died? Heavens, since when did ancient demons die so easily? It's like cutting vegetables. Illusion, this must be an illusion. How can an immortal demon kill ancient demons one after another? Crazy, this is crazy. What did Fengdu do? What did he do? The remaining ancient fiends and undying fiends were going crazy. They refused to accept this fact. In just a few breaths of time, 3 ancient fiends had been killed. After all, they only had 11 ancient fiends. Now that 3 of them had died, how many more ancient fiends would still be alive in a few breaths' time? Today was the most painful day in the scorched earth hell. Even during the most intense war, there hadn't been so many ancient demons that died. Chapter 2335. Whoosh! Xiaoping waved his hand, and immediately collected the corpses of the 3 ancient fiends. These were precious treasures that could be refined into spatial fruits. He couldn't let them go to waste like this. Moreover, they were crucial for him to become an ancient saint and understand the development of space. Die! While the demons were still in shock and couldn't fight back, Xiaoping attacked again with the Kuanpeng steps. Whoosh! With just one step, His entire body seemed to have turned into a kuan-pung. His body instantly turned illusory and merged with the void, passing through countless layers of spatial barriers. In the next second, he arrived in front of the two demons, his body filled with a terrifying murderous aura. Bastard, you still want to kill us? Scram! Scram immediately! Ignite your devil blood! Go all out against this bastard! Slaughter him! The two demons' hair stood on end. They were scared half to death. Sensing a fatal crisis, they immediately burned their blood and chi to activate their strongest demonic energy. Immediately, demonic energy exploded from their bodies. Like a planet exploding, they tried to blast Xiaoping away. In order to survive, they used all of their strength. They didn't care about the damage to their bodies. Even if they lost most of their life force, they still wanted to avoid this fatal attack. Thunder Spear. Xiaoping immediately moved. The power of thunder in his body circulated. It contained the primordial thunder law and was all-encompassing. Every cell in his body was filled with thunder energy. A rumbling sound rang out, and a purple lightning spear instantly condensed in each of his hands. The spear was engraved with dense lightning runes, as if it was a tribulation power that came from the depths of hell. Dong! In the blink of an eye, the two purple thunder spears were extremely terrifying. They tore through the void and pierced through the two demons' heads, making crackling noises. Ah! Immediately, the two demons screamed in pain. The terrifying power of thunder seeped into their souls, as if they were being punished by thunder. Boom! Their bodies and souls were crushed. They died on the spot and their souls disappeared. The corpses of the two ancient demons were also collected by Xiaoping. Dead. Another two ancient fiends have died. This won't do. He's a monster. He's a monster. We're no match for him. He killed two primordial fiends in just a breath's time. Now 5 of us are dead, and only 6 are left. With such a small number, we won't be enough for him to kill. Run. Hurry up and run. Staying here will only lead to death. There is no way we can defeat this monster. The goat-horned demon Otis and the rest of the ancient demons were scared out of their wits. Before this, they were still full of confidence. However, after Xiaoping killed 5 ancient demons in a row, they no longer dared to go against Xiaoping. At this moment, they were simply like birds that were startled by the mere twang of a bowstring, and they wished for nothing more than to run as far away as possible. Some of the ancient demons were so regretful that their intestines turned green. If they had known that Fengdu was so terrifying, they wouldn't have come here to seek death. After all, if they stayed in their lair, there would be all sorts of restrictions and array formations, as well as a large number of backup plans. Even if the demons from ancient times came, they would still be able to make them suffer. Now, they had foolishly walked out of their lair and came to this place alone. Was this not giving up on their own strengths to attack their opponent's strengths? In an instant they all broke down. They were like headless flies, and they had been defeated for 3,000 miles. Most of the eternal demons and ancient demons wanted to retreat. Seeing this situation, Fred, who was at the side, felt that he had no choice but to take action. If this continued, all the demons would be killed by the other party, and all of them would be sent to their deaths. Fengdu, don't be too arrogant. Let's stop here. I'll send you to the river Styx now. Fred shouted angrily, and his expression was ferocious. It no longer wanted to hide its trump card, so it immediately took out the magic treasure on its body. It was a black rod, the thunder-devouring magic rod. The black rod was engraved with dense black hell runes. They looked like twisted worms, and they contained powerful and twisted lightning power. With this hell treasure in hand, Fred's power immediately increased by several times. It was as if the lightning runes deep inside the rod had completely fused with his body, allowing him to communicate with the lightning source in the depths of hell. It was as if the dense power of the lightning laws were all exerted on his body. For a moment, with his body as the center, it seemed to have formed a lightning domain that covered a radius of billions of kilometers. Dark clouds covered the sky and surged like mercury. All the demons felt this terrifying aura. It was as if a catastrophe was about to befall them, and the lightning power from the depths of the dark clouds could descend at any time and strike them all to death. Damn! That bastard Fred actually has a hell treasure on him as well. Just what is going on here? Some ancient demons were dumbfounded. They stared at Fred. They never thought that Fred would have a trump card. He really hid it well. I've known him for billions of years, and I never thought he would have a hell treasure. An ancient demon who was very familiar with Fred was also shocked. Strange. If he has a hell treasure, his combat power is completely above ours. Why didn't he unify the entire scorched earth hell? Why didn't he do anything for so many years? Some of the demons were very confused. Maybe it hasn't been long since he got this treasure, so he didn't do anything. One of the ancient demons voiced his conjecture. Damn, this guy is too cunning. He actually has a hell treasure, and he lied to us, saying that he didn't want to fight for it. So he already has it, so he naturally doesn't care. An ancient demon's expression was gloomy. If he really succeeds and snatches Fengdu's hell treasure, then when that guy attacks, how can we stop him? This is a plan that kills two birds with one stone. He could completely imagine Fred's ferocity. He was definitely planning to catch them all in one go. I told you this guy was up to no good. We can't believe a word he says. We were almost tricked. It's too late to say anything now. Our biggest enemy is Fengdu. If he doesn't die, we'll all die. That's right. We can only rely on Fred. I don't know if he can stop us. This Fengdu isn't simple either. He has two hell treasures. He's so rich. Where did he come from? The demons gritted their teeth. If it was before, they would still be angry at Fred's behavior. But now that they were facing a great enemy, it was a good thing to have a hidden trump card. If Fred didn't have a trump card, then they would be finished today. Their corpses would not be whole. Compared to Fred's threat, this mysterious demon Fengdu was the real threat. Chapter 2336. Devour heaven, devour earth, devour ghost, devour God, and devour lightning. Devour heaven, devour earth, only I am supreme. Fred didn't waste words with Xiaoping. He attacked with all his strength, the lightning-devouring devil staff in his hand. The black staff grew to a height of 3,000 meters, like a pillar that could prop up the heavens. But when it moved, it was as light as a feather. Using the power of lightning in his body, he swung it at Xiaoping. In the blink of an eye, thousands upon thousands of enormous staff images came crashing down like mountains, shaking the earth, the void, and hell itself. The land within hundreds of millions of kilometers seemed to be boiling at this moment. All of the land was crushed by this aura, causing countless terrifying cracks to appear on it. Even the sky itself was riddled with spatial rifts that stretched for millions of kilometers, as if they were going to pierce through the barrier of the scorched earth hell. Not only was this attack incredibly powerful, but it also contained the power of black lightning. It was the power of devouring lightning, as if it had devoured many different types of lightning, fused them together, and then exploded with power comparable to tribulation lightning. The staff came crashing down, as if it were carrying out punishment on behalf of the heavens. It could judge all sins, injustices, and rebellions. It could exterminate all impurities. With the lightning-devouring devil staff in hand, Fred's power had increased several-fold, almost reaching the peak of the archaic fiend devil level, surpassing all other fiend devils of the scorched earth hell. Just the shockwaves alone could kill an undying fiend devil. If they were hit, even an ancient demon would be beaten half to death and heavily injured on the spot. Damn it, that's impossible. Fred is actually this powerful. One of the fiend devil's eyes went wide, as if this was the first time he had seen Fred. Damn it. Is a magic treasure of hell really that strong? It can actually raise Fred to this level. Before, there was only a small gap between us, but now the gap is boundless. Some of the fiend devils were so jealous that their intestines were turning green. It was just a magic treasure of hell, but it was able to raise Fred's power to this level. Not good. Retreat. Retreat. We can't stay within Fred's attack range or we'll all die. Quite a few fiend devils shouted, backing away from Fred's attack range. Not bad. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He could sense that the magic treasure was a mid-grade sacred artifact at the very least. It was no wonder why it could increase the demon's strength by several times. It was practically the equivalent of upgrading a bird gun to a cannon. But to him it was nothing much. Chaos lightning magic beginning, birth, growth, and end. Everything starts from chaos and ends in chaos. Tens of thousands of divine lightning bolts return to me, fuse into my body, and refine my soul. Xiaoping formed seals with both hands, circulating the primal chaos thunder art. This was the general outline of all thunder arts, grasping the origin power of the law of thunder. All thunder arts in the world originated from this. In an instant, his body seemed to have turned into a lightning vortex, a chaotic vortex. All the lightning tribulation energy was slowly rotating, as if it had turned into a black hole. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, a series of terrifying rod shadows came crashing down with the power of devouring thunder. All of them landed within the chaos vortex. Crash! Immediately, the power of devouring thunder instantly merged into the depths of the black vortex and was devoured cleanly. Even the terrifying power of the giant rod was weakened into nothingness. At the same time, in the depths of Xiaoping's body, every meridian, every bone, and even every cell flowed with a large amount of the power of exotic lightning. Then he quickly refined it, took it for himself, and completely integrated it into the talisman of the chaos lightning magic. The power of the chaos lightning magic could take all kinds of divine lightning in the world as its own, combining them into one, and subduing all lightning. The mere power of devouring thunder was not even comparable to the real thunder tribulation. How could it resist the power of the chaos lightning magic? The power in his body was also rising. It seemed that the power of the lightning in his body had also increased a lot, as if he had taken a great tonic. Xiaoping felt refreshed all over, as if every cell in his body had gained a lot of information about the law of thunder. Impossible. My devouring thunder magic rod can't kill him. It can't even hurt him. All the power of the exotic lightning has been devoured by him. What kind of joke is this? What kind of fiend devil is he? When Fred saw this, he completely broke down and screamed. He could not believe such a ridiculous thing. He thought that he would be able to defeat Fengdu if he took out his trump card and used all his strength. Who would have thought that his invincible law of thunder would not be able to hurt Fengdu? How could he accept such a thing? It was as if he was the world champion in sprinting and thought that he would definitely win this race. But he did not expect that an unknown contestant would suddenly appear and easily leave him in the dust. He even broke the world record. Therefore, it was not difficult to imagine Fred's current state of mind. He wanted to kill himself. This is a good chance. Let's kill this fiend devil Fengdu. Ha 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 ha. No matter how powerful Fengdu is, it's impossible for him to be unscathed after taking Fred's full blow. Let's take advantage of this opportunity to kill him. Those two hell treasures belong to us now. At that moment, the eyes of the three ancient demons, including the goat horn demon Otis, glowed fiercely. They took the opportunity to attack Xiaoping. It could be said that they had been eyeing Xiaoping for a long time. They had seen this moment when Xiaoping was at his weakest. From their point of view, Even a peak ancient demon could not withstand Fred's terrifying attack. An immortal tier demon would not be able to escape unscathed even with the protection of the treasures. The reason why he did not show any abnormalities was definitely because he was acting. His body must be in a stiff state and unable to move. Even the mana in his body must have been greatly depleted. This was the moment when Fengdu's old power had just dissipated. And it was also the moment when he was at his weakest. As ancient demons that had been fighting for billions of years, they had rich battle experience. They were practically invincible. Even if the enemy had a momentary flaw, they would be able to discover it. In a battle between experts, even a flaw that was grasped in a millionth of a second would be unlucky. Even if they did not die, they would be severely injured. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The three ancient demons had ferocious looks on their faces as they attacked from three different directions. A terrifying space domain descended like a projection of the world. All of their mana exploded at the same time, shattering the void. They did not hold back and used their strongest divine abilities. They wanted to crush this demon Fengdu into dust. Not even a single cell would be left. Even an immortal body would not be able to revive him. Chapter 23:37. At that moment, Xiaoping naturally sensed the three ancient demons charging at him. He could not help but smirk. He knew what the three ancient demons were thinking. They had probably seen Philide's attack and thought that he was in his weakest state. They wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to kill him and steal his treasures. He also knew what they were thinking. Under normal circumstances, even if an ordinary immortal demon did not die, they would still be severely injured. However, he had the Chaos Thunder technique and could devour thousands of godly lightning. No matter how powerful Philide was, he could not do anything to him. On the contrary, when the godly lightning entered his body, it was completely devoured. Not only did it not hurt him, but it also greatly improved his magic. However, since these godly lightning came forward to die, he would fulfill their wish. Chaos Thunder technique. Godly lightning is one chaos limitless lightning slash. Xiaoping's eyes flashed with a cold light. His body trembled, and an endless amount of terrifying godly lightning quickly gathered together. His body exploded with the power of lightning. He turned his hands into blades and sliced to the side. In an instant, all the power of lightning gathered in his hands and condensed into one. It seemed to have turned into an unparalleled lightning blade chi. It was so sharp that even the void was easily sliced apart. Dong! One slash. Just one slash. A 3,000-kilometer-long void appeared in the void. This void was sliced into two without any sound, like a piece of tofu being torn apart. Ugh! Ugh! Before Otis and the other two ancient demons could reach Xiaoping, before they could even use their most powerful theurgy, their heads were sent flying. The cut on their necks was smooth, and a large amount of blood spurted out like a fountain. The blood splashed and dyed the ground red. They clutched their broken necks and could not say a word. Their eyes were filled with confusion, shock, and fear. They did not expect Xiaoping, who was in his weakest state, to be able to cast such a terrifying attack. This lightning slash was so powerful that they could not react in time. Before they could understand what had happened, 3 of their heads were sliced open. Moreover, this power did not only target their bodies. At the same time, the power of thunder contained the power of tribulation thunder, which directly penetrated the souls of the 3 demons. It could be said that this attack had not only split open their heads, but it had also torn their souls into pieces. With a loud bang, the 3 corpses fell from the sky and smashed onto the ground, causing a cloud of dust to rise. Blood flowed freely on the ground. Their eyes were wide open, as if they couldn't believe that they had died just like that. Dead, another 3 dead. One of the ancient fiends trembled in fear. Including the ones that had died before, there were now 8 of them. In other words, including Fred, there were only 3 ancient demons still alive. Before coming here, their forces had been vast and mighty, and they'd practically gathered all of the strongest forces in the scorched earth hell. But now, they'd been slaughtered by Fengdu, and the casualties had been disastrous. They weren't here to annihilate this new force, they were clearly here to seek death. Strong, he's just too strong. Unbelievable. Is this the law of thunder? But now Fred was stunned. He was dumbfounded. In his eyes, there was only Rachel that Xia Ping had used to kill the 3 near-ancient demons in an instant. That bolt of lightning struck down, dazzling for 3,000 miles. In Fred's eyes, this was simply the most beautiful lightning in the world, blooming with dazzling brilliance. It contained the endless power of the law of thunder. It was mysterious, beautiful, and supreme. Fred didn't feel any fear. Instead, he was extremely touched. This seemed to be the supreme manifestation of the law of thunder. This was the essence of the Tao, and it was indescribably beautiful. Vaguely, his heart was moved. He didn't know how long his understanding of the law of thunder had been stagnant for. But now, he was starting to loosen up. He had learned so much from that bolt of lightning. He was confident that if he was given a little more time, he might be able to advance to the ancient demon realm. This was a powerful realm that countless demons dreamed of reaching. God knew how many demons had been stuck at this step, unable to break through for a long time. Unfortunately, Xia Ping wouldn't give him any time. Ancient demon Fred, go to hell. Your life has come to an end. Xia Ping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. His body flashed and turned into a bolt of lightning. He suddenly punched out, like a terrifying lightning spear, piercing the void. It's over. Fred was terrified. He had just used all his strength, and used the power of the thunder-devouring devil stick. He had already used up all his strength, so he didn't have any strength left to fight back. He could only watch the lightning spear coming at him, unable to fight back. But at this moment, a shadow instantly appeared in front of Fred. It seemed to have spread out a shadow domain, covering tens of thousands of miles of the void. It was majestic. Dong! The purple lightning spear bombarded the shadow domain, and was immediately blocked. This power could tear the void, but it couldn't tear the shadow domain, which was between the real and the virtual. The whole purple lightning spear collapsed in an instant, and all the power of thunder turned into nothingness. Who is it? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. Even with the power of his divine sense, he couldn't perceive that there was a 12th ancient demon in this place. One could imagine how terrifying this demon was. He could feel that this demon that suddenly appeared was probably more powerful than Fred. Hee. At this moment, the shadow quickly condensed into a shadow. It had no shape, just a shadow. Its body was invisible, as if it was between the real and the virtual. It was even more incredible than Dark Ghost. Sir, I am Shadow Demon Anseal. It's my honor to meet you for the first time. The Shadow Demon laughed, and said to Xia Ping, What? Shadow Demon? Hearing this, Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He had heard of the name Shadow Demon. It was said that this was a very special kind of demon that was born from the shadows. They had no shape and were invisible. They absorbed the power of the shadows to strengthen themselves. Ordinary power couldn't hurt the shadow. If the Shadow Demon hid in the depths of the shadows, ordinary demons wouldn't be able to find its whereabouts. It had an extremely strong concealment ability. It could be said that it was a famous scout among the demons, and its strength was equally strong. The problem was that the Shadow Demon was extremely rare. It would only appear in the relatively powerful hell planes. Low-level hell planes like the Burning Hell and the Scorched Hell wouldn't have Shadow Demons. Chapter 2338. Moreover, the Shadow Demon before him was undoubtedly more powerful. It had reached the peak of near-ancient demon, and had completely comprehended the law of space. Combined with the Shadow Demon's innate magical ability, Shadow Domain, it could be said that it could easily travel through space and reach any space. This greatly increased the threat of the Shadow Demon. Anseal, you can't be a demon from Scorched Earth Hell, right? You suddenly saved this Lightning Lion Demon. Are you planning to become my enemy? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and looked at the Shadow Demon, his body emitting a faint murderous aura. Sir, you are right. I am indeed not a demon from this hell. I come from another plane of hell. The Shadow Demon Anseal smiled. However, this Lightning Lion Demon is quite talented. My master has taken a liking to him, and accepted him as a loyal general. I promised my master that he must not die. Moreover, You have already won a great victory. The entire scorched earth hell is in your pocket. No demon can resist you. Why do you have to kill Fred? Why don't you give me, Anseal, some face and spare Fred's life? We can meet again in the future. What do you think? Hell also has a principle. Forgive demons when you can. It spoke frankly and with assurance to Xiaoping. Hearing this, the other two near ancient demons' hearts stirred. They could learn a lot of information from these words. It turned out that Fred had been taken a liking by a lord from a powerful plane of hell. Hence, the lord had sent the shadow demon to recruit him. It was no wonder that Fred's strength had suddenly increased by leaps and bounds. He even had a powerful magic treasure from hell. It was probably all because of this shadow demon. Give you face. Hearing this, Xiaoping immediately laughed loudly. Who do you think you are? Do you think I will give you face just because you say so? Do you think I will spare its life with just a few words? To tell you the truth, this matter has nothing to do with you. If you dare to stand in my way, then you will be my mortal enemy. I don't care where you come from, you will die here. He sneered in his heart. This Umber fiend probably came from an extremely powerful infernal plane. He was used to being domineering and looked down on demons from lower infernal planes. In the eyes of this Umber fiend, if it said a few words, the other demons would have to give it face and retreat. This was because it represented the dignity of a powerful demon from the infernal plane. And no demon was allowed to blaspheme it. Otherwise, they would definitely suffer a calamity. Unfortunately, he met him. He didn't care what background this shadow demon had. Demons are everywhere. Shadow demon Anseal's face suddenly turned gloomy. You want to kill me? It seems that you, a demon from a lower plane of hell, have completely gone mad. You have no idea who you have offended. Who you are has nothing to do with me. It doesn't matter how powerful the background of a dead demon is. Don't tell me that the power behind you has the guts to cross countless territories to kill me? You think too highly of yourself. Xiaoping sneered. A huge power was brewing in his body. What a fool. Shadow demon Anseal spat out a few words and revealed a cold aura. You think you are invincible, just because you killed a few ancient demons from a lower plane of hell. What a fool's dream. I am the famous shadow demon, the shadow emissary who walks in hell. Do you think you can kill me? You think too highly of your own strength. Moreover, if I want to leave, I can instantly escape into space and disappear. Do you think you can kill me? I can come and go as I please in the entire scorched hell. Shadow demon is indeed a special demon with a powerful and strange shadow magic ability. However, it is not unkillable. Xiaoping looked at the shadow demon indifferently, his eyes looking down on it. Big words. Shadow demon Anseal sneered. Fengdu, I'll give you another chance. Let's bury the hatchet and I'll take Fred away. From then on, we'll never meet again. Hell is very big, and we won't become mortal enemies. I guarantee that Fred won't come looking for trouble with you in the future. Guarantee? So what if you guarantee it? How many hell magic treasures is it worth? Hearing this, Xiaoping laughed out loud. I'd be stupid enough to let you guys escape. Wait until you're strong enough in the future, then come find trouble with me. Although I don't mind, it's troublesome to always be bothered by flies. Besides, you are about to die. What guarantee do you have? Since you dared to go against me, Fengdu, today is the day you die. No one can save you. It seems like your arrogance has no bounds. If I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know how powerful the demons from the higher hell planes are. They aren't something that a demon from a small place like yours can compare to. Shadow demon Anseal was enraged. He was thoroughly enraged by Xiaoping's words. If he did not kill this minor demon from a lower plane of hell, he would have no face left. He must kill him and exterminate his entire family. So, right after saying that, Shadow demon Anseal's figure disappeared, blending into the depths of the void. He became invisible, and even his aura disappeared from this world. It was as though he had entered a world of shadows. With such an ability, he was like a fish in water in hell, a place filled with shadows. All the demons present stared with widened eyes. No matter how hard they tried, they could not detect any trace of the shadow demon's aura. It was as though he had disappeared from this world. Xiao. In an instant, an illusory shadow suddenly sprang up from the ground behind Xiaoping. It transformed into a gray dagger, and fiercely stabbed towards Xiaoping's back. It was a vicious attack. This was a hell magic treasure, the shadow dagger. It contained poison, curses, and other terrifying negative hell powers. Once stabbed, the opposing demon would die without a doubt. Their souls would be torn apart. Ordinary shadow demons did not possess great offensive power. They only possessed terrifying stealth abilities. However, when paired with the shadow dagger, the shadow demon became one of the most terrifying killers in hell. Dong! But before shadow demon Anseal could make a move, Xiaoping suddenly turned around and easily clamped his 2 fingers on top of its dagger. Xiaoping forcibly clamped the dagger and exerted a powerful force on it, making it unable to move. Impossible! How did you discover that I was stealthily behind you? Shadow demon Anseal was shocked. He simply could not believe it. This was the first time in his life that his whereabouts had been so easily seen through. It was as though his movements were known to the back of his hand. Even his master behind him could not discover him so easily. Chapter 2339. Stupid. Xiaoping lightly spat out 2 words. His pupils revolved the swastika symbol, as if he could see through everything. Your shadow power is indeed unusual. You can easily hide your figure and aura, and you can escape into the void anytime and anywhere. If you didn't take the initiative to reveal yourself, I wouldn't have discovered your existence. However, all of this is based on the premise that you haven't exposed your tracks. Once I pay attention to you, your movements will undoubtedly be exposed in my eyes. He didn't discover the existence of the shadow demon before, because he didn't pay attention to the surrounding environment and didn't activate the Golden Crow Hell Eye. After all, constantly activating the Golden Crow Hell Eye consumed a lot of energy. However, once he noticed the shadow demon's traces, he would activate the Golden Crow Hell Eye, and this shadow demon would have nowhere to hide. This shadow demon thought that it could hide from all the demons in the world with its magical power. But unfortunately, it met him. Damn it, I don't believe it. My shadow stealth magical power is unparalleled in the world. How could it be discovered by a little country demon like you? I want you to die. I want you to die. In the blink of an eye, this shadow demon Anseal flew into a rage, and his killing intent soared. Originally, it was only in a playful state, wanting to play with this country's devil. It maintained a condescending attitude from the beginning, but now, it knew that Xiaoping could see through its shadow power and easily discover its whereabouts when it blended into the void. If this matter were to leak out, it would be disastrous. Perhaps the supreme secret of the entire shadow demon race would be grasped by this kid. No matter what, it had to kill this damn country demon today, and strangle this kid's ability to discover the shadow demon's stealth power in the cradle. As soon as his voice fell, Xiaoping slapped out with his palm. It was like a supreme Buddha's palm that could destroy everything. The violent power bombarded shadow demon Anseal's body. Bang! Suddenly, shadow demon Anseal flew out and scraped the ground, creating a trace that was thousands of kilometers long. Countless explosions occurred in the air. It's useless. It's useless. I'm a shadow demon with a body of nothingness. No matter how powerful you are, you can't kill me. Shadow demon Anseal laughed and was extremely proud. But you're different. As long as you make a mistake and get stabbed by my shadow dagger, you will die without a burial place. It relied on its shadow body to run rampant, and was not afraid of any attack from Xiaoping. With a whoosh, it once again flew up from the ground, turning into a gray shadow. It was completely gray, and its aura did not weaken in the slightest. You're definitely not simple. Ordinary power can't kill you, so it's no wonder you're so arrogant. But it's your bad luck to run into me. Xiaoping's eyes glowed with coldness as he waved his hand to produce the reincarnation brush. Boom! As soon as the reincarnation brush appeared, it immediately activated the essence power of hell. It seemed to emanate the aura of life and death, karma, reincarnation, 6 daos, and other such things. This was especially so for the tip of the brush. Every single strand of hair contained a terrifying sharpness that could easily slice the space into countless pieces. What is this? When Shadow Devil Anseal saw the pen, His hair immediately stood on end. He felt a palpitating aura from the depths of his soul, as if he had seen the god of the underworld descending. Obviously, this was just an ordinary brush, but it brought him a supreme threat. Although he did not know what magic treasure this guy had suddenly taken out, his body's instinct told him that if he allowed this guy to use it, even if he was a shadow devil, he would still be killed. Boom! In an instant, its body actually exploded, turning into thousands of strands of black fog. In an instant, it engulfed Fred and the other two near-ancient demons, and instantly escaped hundreds of miles away. This was the life magic of the shadow devil, shadow doppelganger. It could instantly split its soul into tens of thousands of doppelgangers by burning its own soul power. Then, each doppelganger could escape at an extremely fast speed and easily blend into the void. As long as one doppelganger could escape, it could absorb the shadow power from the depths of the void and achieve rebirth, restoring its soul power to its peak state. Under normal circumstances, it would only use this magic in a critical moment. After all, it would consume a lot of energy, and it might not be able to recover even after tens of thousands of years. Clearly, for Shadow Devil Anseal, this was the most dangerous moment. Without paying a heavy price, it would be impossible to escape from this godforsaken place. It had already increased Xiaoping's threat level exponentially. Even an ordinary Middle Ancient demon could not compare to this incomparably mysterious countryside immortal demon. To actually force the Shadow Devil to use this magic, this Fengdu is too terrifying. Fred was extremely shocked. He also understood a little about the power of the Shadow Devil. Unless it was forced into a desperate situation, the Shadow Devil would not use this kind of bloodline magic. However, this Fengdu had just made a move, and he had actually forced the Shadow Devil to flee for its life. One could imagine how terrifying this power was. It was absolutely beyond his imagination. Escape, we finally have a chance to escape. Thank you, Lord Anseal. Thank you for taking the opportunity to help us escape. Run, hurry up and run. Don't stay together with this monster Fengdu, or we will all die. With the help of the Shadow Devil, we can also conceal ourselves and easily blend into the shadows. We can definitely escape. That brat can't kill us at all. He can only eat our dust. The remaining two late ancient demons were very proud. They felt that they had won this time. With the help of the Shadow Devil, how could this Fengdu kill them? They were already in an invincible position. Kill. Xiaoping was expressionless. He circulated the enormous magic power in his body, wielded the reincarnation brush, and attacked with a move. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, from the depths of the reincarnation brush, thousands of dark lights surged out. It seemed as if they could easily penetrate the void, ignoring any spatial barrier. This surging aura scared the Shadow Devil half to death. It felt as if there was a dagger on its back, and it ran even faster. Dong. However, it was already too late. With a single strike, the thousands of dark lights instantly tore these shadow clones apart. Originally, Shadow Devil Anseal was still carrying Fred and the other late ancient demons. However, he could not protect them at all, and was instantly pierced by the light of the reincarnation brush. Fred and the other two late ancient demons let out mournful cries. They did not even know what had happened. Their entire bodies were easily pierced, and even their souls were torn apart. With a bang, the bodies and souls of the three late ancient demons were completely shattered, and they died completely. Even the countless shadow clones of the Shadow Devil Anseal were smashed into pieces, turning into atoms. Chapter 2340. This attack killed three near-ancient fiends in an instant. By now, the Infernal Realm's 11 fiend devils and many undying fiend devils had been slain. Virtually all of the Infernal Realm's elites had been wiped out. But the Shadow Demon was very lucky. Even though it had destroyed thousands of shadow clones, there were still some remnant souls left. Boom! The next second, a beam of white light descended and entered the shadow clones. They merged together at a speed visible to the naked eye. Then they became a shadow again. But the Shadow Demon Anseal was panting. Clearly, the destruction of countless clones, and the resurrection, had consumed a great deal of its soul power. Even if it hadn't died, it had been seriously injured. You're not dead yet. It looks like the shadow demon's life force is really strong and tenacious. But how long can you last? Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He wanted to attack again and kill the shadow demon Anseal. This time, the shadow demon Anseal was terrified. It had just killed 3 near-ancient fiends with one attack, and it had consumed 70 to 80% of its soul power. If it happened again, it would die without a doubt. You bastard, you forced me to do this. Go to hell, go to hell. The shadow demon Anseal shouted angrily. Its face was ferocious, and it seemed to have finally made up its mind. With a whoosh, it suddenly took out a black talisman. The black talisman seemed to have many dark golden lines and runes drawn on it. It emanated a powerful, unfathomable,
the void within a radius of billions of miles
aura that
fell
came
into
from
the
the
abyss
abyss
of
of stillness.
It also
The entire
seemed to
world
contain
seemed to
countless
be in a
lines of
state of
law.
chaos.
My lord,
a huge
I have
formation
encountered
was
an enemy
imprinted
that
in
I
the void,
cannot resist.
completely
I have no
enveloping a
choice but
radius
to
of
ask
a
for your
million
help.
kilometers.
I hope you can
Time
lend me
stood
a
still,
hand
and
and
this
grant me
moment,
the power to defeat
everything
this
within a
damned
range
enemy.
of a million kilometers
The shadow
fell
demon
into a
Anseal
state of
formed a
stillness.
seal with its hands,
All the laws
and
of the
spoke in the
universe
language
had
of
stopped
hell,
operating at
which
this moment.
contained the power of
It was
truth.
as if within
It
this
seemed
time
to be the
domain,
most ancient language
everything
of
in the
hell,
world had
and it
fallen into a
emanated a
state of
mysterious
stillness.
aura.
Everything
Whoosh
was
is
unable
unable
to
to
move.
move.
And
The black
even their
talisman
thoughts burst
burst
into
into
flames,
Damn it.
releasing black
Xiaoping's
flames.
pupils shrank
Instantly,
as he
the
sensed
power
great
of law
danger.
was stimulated.
This was the power
The
of
void
the
was
law of
torn
time.
apart by the
It
power
could
of
stop
law,
all objects
and a
in the
black door
universe,
appeared in the
making
void.
it impossible
It
for
seemed
him
to open
move.
the door to the
Moreover,
high-level world of hell.
The power of this
Boom,
time domain
from
was
the
far
depths of
beyond
this
his
black
imagination.
gate,
A tall,
it was a powerful
ancient, and
power that he
immeasurably
had
deep
never
phantom
seen
appeared.
before.
In the
Standing
time
behind
domain,
it was a supreme
all living
supreme
beings
being
that
of
could
the
not
demon
resist
race.
the erosion of
A
the law of
supreme
time
being
would
that
die.
grasped infinite
It could
law
be said that the
information.
attacking
It
being
doesn't
was
matter who
definitely
you
above
are,
the realm
where
of
you
the
come
Middle
from,
Ancient Saints,
or what you do.
That was why he
You will
could
die
perform
this
this
time.
attack from a
I will
great
grant you
distance.
eternal death.
At this moment,
The giant
the
shadow spoke in
reincarnation
a low,
brush on
muffled
his body
voice.
vibrated.
Each word
It
seemed to
to be
contain the
strongly
power of a
stimulated
mantra,
by the power
as
of
well
this
as the
time
complete
domain.
magical
This
laws
had
of hell.
violated the domain
Dong.
of a divine
In the
artifact.
next second,
In the
a
next
dark golden
second,
finger
the
slowly emerged
reincarnation
from the
brush
depths of
emitted
the
a
black
terrifying
gate.
aura and power.
It was as if a reincarnation millstone was born from the depths of the void, containing endless mysteries of the universe. Boom! This power shook the void, immediately shaking the void within a radius of 30 million kilometers. It shook the time domain with Xiaoping's body as the center. The solidified time domain in the surroundings was distorted at this moment. It was as if this domain had formed a unique distorted aura at this moment. Obviously, the power of this time domain could control almost everything in the world. However, it could not control the reincarnation brush, which had reached the level of a divine artifact. Its level could not be restrained by the ordinary law of time. It had long jumped out of the law. Whoosh! Suddenly, Xiaoping felt that his body, which had been completely imprisoned, had finally regained its freedom. He could move. His body flashed and immediately moved to the side, passing through thousands of layers of space. In the depths of the dark gate, the mysterious and powerful existence was surprised. It seemed that it did not expect that a demon from a low-level plane of hell could escape the restraint of the time domain. This was simply unheard of. However, at this moment, its attack had already blasted out, and it had no time to change its direction. Suddenly, a dark golden light shot out. Its power was many times more terrifying than the full power of a Star Destroyer cannon. It was as if countless laws of the universe had completely collapsed and turned into a state of chaos. Dong! However, this finger attack had deviated from Xiaoping's original direction and was sent flying towards another empty space. Shockingly, this one attack destroyed the space within a radius of billions of li, creating a huge crater and almost piercing through the entire scorched hell. Kacha! 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 The ground in the surroundings crackled as millions of terrifying cracks appeared. It was as if this scorched earth hell had been split into two because of this attack. Even though Xiaoping dodged in time and avoided the fatal blow, the shockwaves that spread out bombarded his body, creating billions of tremors. Puff! Immediately, Xiaoping could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Even with a strong physique, he could not withstand the aftermath of this attack. His body was severely injured on the spot. One could imagine how terrifying this attack was. Even a peak near ancient sage would be easily crushed by this finger. No matter how hard they struggled, it was useless. They could only close their eyes and wait for death. Impossible. Even a near-ancient demon would die after being hit by my master's sky-raising finger, which can distort the law of time and space. You, a small immortal demon, did not die, and you are only seriously injured. How is this possible? Shadow Demon Anseal almost went crazy. He could not believe what he had seen with his eyes. Chapter 2341. However, one couldn't blame Anseal for being so shocked and in disbelief. This matter was simply too outrageous. Even in the higher hellish plane, it had never seen such a terrifying immortal fiend. This was an attack that could twist the law of time and space. Even a medieval fiend had to be cautious and not act rashly. Otherwise, it would end up with serious injuries. However, this puny immortal fiend could actually break free from the time freeze and jump out of the time domain. This was simply a mortal reversing the power of a god. Who would dare to believe such a ridiculous thing? Moreover, this talisman was also the only life-saving method its master had given it. It would only be used in a critical moment in order to face this kind of situation and kill all the enemies. However, this guy wasn't killed and was still alive and kicking. What kind of joke was this? If it wasn't very clear-headed, it would have thought that it was dreaming. Not bad at all. That attack just now really almost killed me. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes, revealing a trace of cold light. Of course, it wasn't that he didn't have any tricks up his sleeves. He had the death substitution talisman given by his master, Dark North Sage. He could have easily avoided that fatal attack and escaped. The problem was that if he did so, he would have wasted a precious death substitution talisman and suffered a heavy loss. Therefore, he was very angry. This shadow fiend had indeed brought him a lot of trouble. He also became more vigilant. In the infernal world, there were countless powerhouses. If he dared to underestimate any fiend, he might fail miserably. Shadow Fiend Anseal, you can stop here. Xia Ping could sense that after the black talisman used this heaven-raising finger, it had already used up 70 to 80% of the talisman's energy. It could no longer activate such a powerful force. His body emitted a terrifying killing intent that tore through the void. This time, he must completely kill this shadow fiend. He absolutely wouldn't give it any chance to escape. Stop, Ant! At this moment, a majestic voice came from the dissipating black gate, echoing through the void. It seemed that just this voice alone was enough to influence the laws of the universe to stop. Anseal is my general, my most loyal servant. If you dare to kill him, even if you have to escape to the end of hell, I will still take your life. Think about it carefully and don't make a mistake. The voice contained a strong will to threaten. Master. Hearing this, Shadow Fiend Anseal shed tears of gratitude. Take my life? You make it sound like you didn't try to kill me just now. It's just that you can't kill me. Even if I kill the shadow demon, so what? You can't bite me. Xia Ping sneered. The reincarnation brush in his hand was merciless. Dong! This time, no one could stop it. A black light tore through the void and bombarded Shadow Demon Anseal. Ah! Shadow Devil Anseal screamed again and again. This blow had directly shattered its soul. At this moment, it no longer had any trump cards. Shadow Demon Anseal dead. Bastard! Damn bastard! Bitch! A furious voice came from the depths of the dark gate. You really dared to do such a thing. You dared to kill my most loyal servant in front of me. You're dead, completely dead. No matter if you go to heaven or hell. No matter what background you have. No matter what demon you have protecting you. You won't be able to escape death. I, Aldrich, will hunt you down for the rest of your life like a stray dog. I'll remember you. You can't escape, even if you hide at the end of hell. Aldrich was angry, really angry. Since it became an ancient demon, it had been high and mighty. It was the ruler of countless demons, and ruled countless low-level planes of hell. It was incomparably tyrannical. No demon had ever dared to disobey it. However, Fengdu, this damned bastard, had actually dared to kill its most valued and loyal servant, right in front of its face, even though it was clearly under its orders. This was simply a slap in its face. It was simply a humiliation to Aldrich's dignity as an ancient demon. If such a low-level demon was not killed, where would it put its face as an ancient demon? Kill it, it must kill this demon Fengdu. Even if it hid at the end of hell, it would find a way to find the traces of demon Fengdu. It would extract its soul and burn it in the hellfire for millions of years. It would kill its whole family and exterminate its 9 generations. Only then could it vent its anger at this moment. It could be said that no one could imagine how angry Aldrich was at this moment. It was simply difficult to suppress. Hunt me down? You think I can't do anything to you? What a joke. Let me give you a gift first. Xiaoping sneered. He was also very angry. He had rarely suffered such a loss in his life. Now he was almost killed by a demon. If he did not take revenge for such a loss, could he still be considered a human? He could not hold it in for so long. Thinking of this, he grabbed with his hand and immediately circulated the power of the golden crow of hell. He absorbed some of the powerful, strange, and unfathomable curse aura that came from the black coffin. Supreme magic ability, Nailhead 7 Arrows technique. Swoosh. In the next second, the wisps of curse aura instantly condensed into a black dagger. It was as if it was condensed from black liquid. It was filled with terrifying sins that could not be washed away. It was as if there were countless vengeful spirits entangled on the black dagger. Just as the black door was about to disappear, Xiaoping immediately threw the black dagger over. It tore through countless voids and passed through space, arriving at the space behind the black door. Ant, you still want to struggle on the verge of death? Enjoy the remaining time of your life. Soon, you will find that sometimes death is a better thing. I will definitely find your whereabouts and let you die a rhythmic death. I will let you know how terrifying it is to offend an ancient demon. Ancient demon Aldrich naturally saw Xiaoping's actions. However, he was very disdainful. He thought that this was just an ant venting his anger. It was like a small fish provoking a whale. It was extremely ridiculous. At this moment, the black door also collapsed and disappeared into the void. However, the dagger of curses passed through the black door and captured the aura of ancient demon Aldrich. It chased after him. This dagger of curses was not a real dagger. It was an object condensed from the power of curses. Such an object was invisible. It was like the law of cause and effect. It could ignore any space and any defense. Even if it was separated by countless layers of origin space, it could not resist the erosion of the power of curses. Dong! In an instant, before anything happened to ancient demon Aldrich, the dagger of curses immediately turned into a wisp of black smoke. It penetrated the defense of the laws on his body and instantly sank into his body. 2K Reading Network. Chapter 2342. Originally, the ancient demon Aldrich did not care much about the black aura invading his body. However, when the black aura completely infiltrated, eroded, and corroded his soul, he immediately knew that he was in big trouble. This kind of power was filled with the terrifying power of the curse. It completely eroded his soul and seemed to make his soul fall into the depths of the netherworld river. Vaguely, his entire body seemed to have fallen into the heavenly decay realm. His originally immortal body actually showed signs of decay and aging, as if it was about to rot. Even his soul fell into a boundless illusion, as if it was being dragged into the 18th level of hell by the god of the underworld, and was being tortured. Even the power of law in his body could not resist such power. In his entire life, the ancient demon Aldrich had never felt such pain. It was as if his flesh and his soul were being devoured and bitten by countless strange and terrifying evil spirits. Damn it, how dare you plot against me, Aldrich? I will not let you off. I will definitely not let you off. I will remember you, Fengdu. The ancient demon Aldrich let out a shrill scream that reverberated back and forth in the luxurious palace. It almost resounded through the void, causing countless demons in the vicinity to be extremely shocked. This was because they had never heard their master make such a shrill scream. This was something that had never happened in hundreds of millions of years. At this moment, his hatred for Xiaoping had reached an extreme. He was furious. If his anger could condense into a physical substance, he was afraid that the entire hell plane would be burned to ashes. He He was just a small ant, but he could actually cause such great harm to him. It was a great humiliation to be plotted against like this. There was no doubt that this was a great humiliation. The ancient demon Aldrich simply wanted to kill Xia Ping immediately. He even had the heart to slaughter the 9 races of demons in the scorched earth hell. Now he truly remembered the name Fengdu. He would never forget it for the rest of his life. At this moment in the scorched earth hell, the dark door had already collapsed. The ancient demon Aldrich's figure had also disappeared without a trace. Xia Ping did not know how the arrogant ancient demon Aldrich was doing now. However, after being hit by the power of the cursed black coffin, even though he was an ancient demon, it was still enough to make him suffer. There was absolutely no reason for him to be spared. If Aldrich was killed by the power of the curse because of this, then it couldn't be any better. However, that was, after all, an ancient demon with countless abilities. It was likely not that easy to kill. Even so, it would cause the ancient demon Aldrich's vitality to be greatly injured. For a short period of time, he would not be able to cause trouble for him. Furthermore, by doing so, he would be able to vent his anger and let this bastard know that he wasn't someone to be trifled with. Beep. At this time, the system's voice sounded. Congratulations, host. This time, you have aroused the hatred of countless demons in scorched earth hell and the ancient demon Aldrich. This time, you have obtained a total of 150 hatred crystals. I hope you can continue to work hard. 150 hate crystals. Xia Ping was overjoyed to hear that. His harvest in the scorched hell had been incredible. Not only had he killed many ancient fiend devils and refined them into spatial fruits, but he had also acquired a large number of hatred crystals. In addition to the 30 hatred crystals he had obtained before, he now had a total of 1,230 hatred crystals on him. This was an unimaginable sum of money that could be exchanged for countless precious treasures. Thinking of this, Xia Ping turned around and looked at the many immortal demons who were scared out of their wits. Because of the battle just now, just the impact of the aftermath had killed many immortal demons. So far, there were only 150 immortal demons left in scorched earth hell, which was more than half of the previous number. It was a heavy loss, and when the demons in Fengdu City saw this, they were all excited. We won, we won! A group of Fengdu City demons shouted excitedly. They thought that with 11 forces of ancient demons joining hands, Fengdu City would probably be destroyed today, and all the demons in Fengdu City would be killed. However, they didn't expect Necropolis to be completely unscathed while the Alliance army was being slaughtered. Even 11 of them were killed. Even a shadow demon that appeared later was killed by Lord Fengdu. This fact completely shocked them and made their hearts burn with endless fanaticism. Lord Fengdu's strength is too terrifying. 11 ancient demons, no, it should be 12 ancient demons. He killed them just like that. It was as easy as killing chickens. An immortal demon was dumbfounded. That's right. Although Lord Fengdu has the help of a magic treasure from hell, the problem is that even with the help of a magic treasure, he doesn't have enough strength to unleash it. If it were me, even with these magic treasures in hand, I would still be killed. Some immortal demons understood that they couldn't underestimate the power of hell treasures. If they were really this powerful, then all demons with them would be invincible. The most important thing was still personal strength. Without enough strength, even if you had a divine weapon, it wouldn't be of any use. Without a doubt, even without treasures, Lord Fengdu's strength could already match ancient demons and even win. Now that 11 ancient demons are all dead, doesn't that mean our Fengdu City is the strongest faction in scorched earth hell? Of course, other than Lord Fengdu, who else would dare to come out and fight? The entire scorched earth hell belongs to Lord Fengdu, and scorched earth hell will be unified because of this. We're rich, we're really rich. The demons of Fengdu City felt an unprecedented excitement. Their faction had become the strongest faction in scorched earth hell, and no other demons could contend against them. Do you want to live or die? Submit or be destroyed? At this time, Xia Ping looked down at these undying fiends. We surrender, we surrender. Spare us, we're willing to serve you as our lord. From now on, scorched earth hell is your territory. were willing to bathe in your light. The immortal demons knew their place and expressed their willingness to submit. As demons, they didn't have much of a concept of loyalty. They only obeyed the strong. Xia Ping had killed 11 ancient fiend devils, which meant he had wiped out all of the fiend devils in the scorched lands. No fiend devil in the scorched lands could possibly be a match for him. Therefore, resisting would only lead to death. It was better to surrender as soon as possible. Very good. Xia Ping nodded, expressing his satisfaction. He formed a hand seal and activated the Nether God charm, turning it into countless black runes that entered the demons' souls. This way, even if they wanted to betray him, they would have to think twice. 2K Reading Net. Chapter 2343. Necropolis City Lord's Mansion. Xia Ping was in seclusion by himself. He didn't need to manage other matters. Unifying the entire scorched hell was left to Luna. After all the ancient demons were dead. Most of the immortal demons had become Necropolis subordinates. The rest were not worth mentioning. Unifying the entire scorched hell was only a matter of time. It was basically a matter of order. Therefore, the most important thing for him now was to become a near-ancient saint and completely comprehend the law of space. Crash, Xia Ping gave the 14 corpses of the ancient demons to the world tree to devour. Very quickly, the world tree condensed 14 spatial fruits. The strength of these demons varied. Some were at the early stage, some were at the peak. Each fruit contained different information about the law of space. However, the 14 spatial fruits contained a tremendous amount of energy. Coupled with the 2 spatial fruits he had refined from the 2 near-primordial demons he had accidentally killed in the scorched hell. The 16 spatial fruits were more than enough for him to reach the near-primordial saint realm. Thinking of this, Xia Ping did not hesitate and immediately devoured all 16 spatial fruits. Boom! These 16 fruits contained an enormous amount of energy. It was equivalent to the life essence of 16 ancient demons. Moreover, it was refined by the world tree. There were no impurities. When this energy surged into his body, it was as if billions of giant dragons were surging and countless rivers were flowing, cleansing every meridian and blood vessel in his body. At this moment, it was as if his body was a boundless ocean that contained millions of rivers. No matter how many rivers flowed into his body would be able to withstand it. Right now, every piece of Xia Ping's flesh contained a majestic life force. The immortal substance in his body was increasing at a crazy rate. It bloomed with the color of colored glass. It was crystal clear and would not be contaminated by any dust. However, the most important part of these fruits was not the energy. Instead, it was the information about the law of space comprehended by the 16 ancient demons. All of it was contained in these fruits. Now that Xia Ping had swallowed these fruits, the countless information of the laws of space within the fruits instantly erupted and rushed into his limbs and bones like a tidal wave. In an instant, every inch of his skin, every piece of flesh, every meridian, every blood vessel, every bone, and even every cell in his body was filled with a tremendous spatial energy. At this moment, his entire body started to crystallize, as though he had become one with the spatial power of the void of the universe. Vaguely, Xia Ping sensed that his divine sense had completely integrated into the void. It was as if he had finally comprehended the power of the laws of space. The void world also appeared completely in front of him. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, the transformation continued. At the same time, the cells in his body were filled with spatial energy and transformed by the law of space. 1%, 2%, 3%, 5%. His body's cells were rapidly spatializing. On the 7th day, his body finally reached 100% space. Every drop of blood and every cell in his body was filled with space energy and space laws. It could be said that his entire body was a body of space. Ancient sages, when Xia Ping sensed that his body's spatial assimilation had reached 100%, he broke through the bottleneck of the sempiternal realm and finally advanced to the near-ancient sage realm, comprehending the laws of space completely. Is this the realm of the near-ancient sages? Xia Ping's eyes shone with a terrifying light. To be honest, Even though he could sense the existence of the power of space before, it was only a blurry feeling. It was as if he was myopic, and there was something blocking his vision. But now it was different. It was as if a doctor had cured his myopia. The entire world was crystal clear, and the layers of dimensional voids appeared before his eyes. At this moment, Xiaoping finally understood what space was, what dimension was, and what laws were. It could be said that the difference between comprehending the laws of space and not comprehending them was like the difference between heaven and earth. There was a fundamental difference. Advancing to the sempiternal realm would only mean obtaining the power of eternity. It would only be able to continuously strengthen one's magic power. And this was only the path of cultivation. However, advancing to the near-ancient sage realm and comprehending the laws of space meant that one had truly stepped onto the path of enlightenment. And comprehending the laws of space was the first step to comprehending the Tao. What was the Tao? The laws of heaven and earth were the Tao that formed the universe. For example, the laws of space, the laws of time, the laws of creation, the laws of the world, and so on. Countless laws formed the Tao of the universe, the most basic operating rules. Only by comprehending these laws could one be considered to have truly comprehended the heavenly Tao of the universe. Otherwise, one would forever be immortal. After spending so much effort, I finally advanced to the near-ancient sage realm. Xiaoping clenched his fists in excitement. If not for the 16 fruits of space formed from the flesh and blood of the near-ancient sage, with his current cultivation speed, it would probably take him billions of years to complete the spatialization of his body. There was no helping it. His reserves were unbelievably deep, and he was 10 times stronger than an ordinary divine beast. One could only imagine how much resources he would need to expend. However, with the help of the world tree, he could devour everything in the world to replenish himself, greatly reducing the cultivation time and greatly increasing the efficiency of his cultivation. There was no need for him to waste time on this matter. Is this the near-ancient sage's laws of space? It's so powerful. Xiaoping clenched his fists. He could feel every inch of his flesh and blood exploding. Every drop of blood flowed, and every cell seemed to have become a small independent space. This was equivalent to every cell becoming a small Dantian's Qi Si. If the mana in Xiaoping's body was like an ocean inside a planet before, then the mana in his body now was like a solar system. The amount of mana it could contain was so much that it made people's hair stand on end. Previously, when he used all kinds of tyrannical bloodline abilities, there might be a possibility of exhausting his mana. But now, even if he fought for 300 million years, there would be no problem. This was simply a perpetual motion machine. If other enemies wanted to exhaust his mana, it would simply be a fool's dream. It could be said that the mana contained in every cell was like a small ocean. Xiaoping had a feeling that even with his brute force, he could seriously injure a near-ancient sage with a punch. Ordinary laws of space would not be able to resist this extremely pure power. This pure power could easily move a planet or even a sun. With such power, no one would dare to say that they were not gods. 2K Reading Network. Chapter 2344. My divine sense has become even stronger. Not only had his magic power undergone an earth-shattering transformation, but Xiaoping could also sense that his divine sense had become even more terrifying. It had expanded to 10 times its original size. Previously, his divine sense could only reach 40 light years. Now it had expanded to 400 light years. This was enough to cover a small star region. Even his divine sense had been imbued with the power of the void, allowing it to easily blend into the void and become even more secretive. Even if his divine sense swept past, not many sages would be able to detect it. This made his ability to detect enemies much stronger, and it also made his safety much safer. My domain has also changed. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. When he was still in the immortal realm, he had only possessed a spiritual domain. Now that he had completely comprehended the laws of space, his domain had also undergone great changes. He had completely transformed his spiritual domain into a spatial domain. Boom! With a thought from Xiaoping, The space within a radius of 400 light-years warped with his body as the center. A huge spatial domain enveloped the area, seemingly causing the void to distort. This energy barrier that looked like an eggshell instantly enveloped a radius of 400 light-years. The periphery of this spatial domain had already exceeded the area of the scorched hell. It had expanded into the hell void. At this moment, countless hell monsoons, storms, cold currents, and other things were colliding. However, all of the hellish disasters were blocked by this spatial domain. Although it was just an invisible spatial barrier, it could easily block all energy corrosion. Is this the power of a spatial domain? It's too strong. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He could sense that this spatial domain was the most powerful means of a sage near ancient. Within the scope of this spatial domain, he could fly from the north to the south with a single thought. In other words, he could travel 400 light-years in an instant. In the next second, he expanded his domain again and could teleport another 400 light-years. This way, his speed was countless times faster. It was even more terrifying than an ordinary Saint-class spaceship. However, the range of an ordinary sage's divine sense was only a few light-years. Therefore, they could only teleport a few light-years away. Their speed was far inferior to his. However, each teleportation consumed a huge amount of magic power. Ordinary sages would not use the ability to teleport all the time, and would only use it at critical moments. But for Xiaoping, his mana was too frightening. He was much stronger than the average near-ancient sage, so the mana consumed every time he teleported was just a drop in the bucket. The use of the space domain was not limited to teleportation. At the same time, it also had the effect of suppressing the enemy. Under the control of the space domain, the enemy would often only be able to display 90% or even 80% of their strength. The difference between the two was huge. If the world tree is planted in this space domain, what will happen? Xiaoping's heart skipped a beat. He immediately thought of the world tree in the depths of his sea of consciousness. If he could completely integrate the world tree into his space domain would probably be much more powerful. Boom! Thinking of this, he did not hesitate. He formed a seal with both hands and communicated with the consciousness of the world tree at the same time. He let the countless roots of the world tree extend and deeply penetrate into the depths of his space domain. At that moment, the roots of the world tree also grew endlessly. In an instant, they propped up Xiaoping's space domain of 400 light-years and filled every corner. Sure enough, the space domain has changed. Xiaoping was extremely excited. His guess was right. The world tree itself was a space wonder. It did not have a fixed form. It existed between illusion and reality, which was very similar to the nature of his space domain. Now that his space domain was filled with the countless roots of the world tree, the entire space domain had become solid, showing a visible spatial barrier. To be honest, the space domain on Xiaoping's body was just like an eggshell-like canopy. Its whole body was condensed from ordinary energy, showing a thin spatial barrier. However, such a spatial barrier was very fragile. A sage at the peak of the ancient times could tear it apart with a wave of his hand. But now it was different. The countless thick roots of the world tree densely covered every corner of the space domain. Each root absorbed the energy of countless dimensional spaces, and this energy leaked out from the countless roots, filling the space domain with countless yuan qi fluctuations and all kinds of unique dimensional energy. This. Xiaoping's eyes flashed with a terrifying light. It was just a sudden idea to integrate the world tree into his space domain. But this method caused his space domain to undergo incredible and mysterious changes. With the help of the strange universe like the world tree, countless roots plunged into every corner of the space domain, making the spatial barrier even more solid. It was like adding steel and cement to a wall. All the spatial energy was stabilized and almost reached an unshakable level. At that moment, Xiaoping was in the middle of the space domain. Endless yuan qi of the universe was devoured by the world tree from all over the universe. It was as if it had devoured countless energies and was watering it, nourishing this space domain. Vaguely, this space domain had the embryonic form of a world. He felt that as long as he willed it, this space domain would immediately envelop and suppress everything. Even a peak near ancient saint would not be able to escape from this domain cage. In fact, even if they had comprehended the law of space, because of the different accumulations and understanding of the law of space, it would lead to different space domains between them. And the space domain of an ordinary near ancient saint would not be this powerful. An ordinary near ancient saint could break free from the binding power of the space domain with a casual strike, or even shatter it. But the space domain that Xia Ping had condensed was completely different. Because of the world tree, it had the embryonic form of a world. The stability of the domain was incredible. Sure enough, this is the right thing to do. With the help of the world tree, any near ancient saint's space domain can't compete with me. Even the middle ancient saint's time domain can resist a bit. Xia Ping clenched his fists, extremely excited. After comprehending the law of space and forming a space domain, the near ancient saint would add their understanding of the countless laws of the universe into the space domain. For example, the law of fire, the law of thunder, the law of earth, the law of metal, and so on. These powerful laws would seep into the depths of the space domain, making it even more strange and ever-changing, making the space domain extremely powerful. Chapter 2345. It was precisely because the space domain had an infinite capacity and was all-encompassing that every sage's space domain was completely different and had its own personality. For example, some near-ancient sages had a fire-like domain, some had a cold-like space domain, some had a space domain filled with thunder, and some even had the power of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, and so on. In short, this had a lot to do with the near-ancient sage's own divine powers. Xia Ping also completely integrated his mystiques, such as the Golden Crow Fire of Hell, the Book of Yin Yang of the Stars, the Hell Demon Suppression Spear, the Chaos Thunder Art, the Youthful Dharch Longevity Art, the Great Yin Yang Tablet Breaking Hand, and so on into his space domain. Suddenly, countless mystiques and talismans were engraved into the space domain and seemed to form lines of laws. It was as if the entire space domain had become a unique world. Success. After a few days, Xia Ping finally mastered all of his powers and completely stabilized his space domain. He also mastered the power of the space domain of a sage near the ancient era. It could be said that he was much more powerful than before. Boom! With a thought, a space domain with a diameter of 400 light-years came down and easily enveloped the entire scorched hell. This space domain covered all directions like a canopy, without any blind spots. It was surrounded by space barriers that looked like ancient turtle shell patterns. It was like the barrier of the world, and its defense was extremely strong. Most of the energy outside the space domain could be easily blocked. Even if it encountered disasters such as spatial storms, it could withstand some of them and be immune to damage. Ordinary sages would have to expend a lot of effort and energy to break through the defense of this space domain. Moreover, in this space domain, there seemed to be absolute power of laws. Any enemy that entered would be greatly suppressed, and even unable to move. The efficiency of condensing mana is also countless times faster than before. Xia Ping sat on the cattail hassock, his mind maintaining the huge space domain. He saw that every corner of the space domain was covered with the roots of the world tree, and all of them were rooted in the void, extending into the depths of countless dimensions. These roots of the world tree, as he breathed, devoured the energy from countless dimensions, and this energy was emitted from these roots, filling every corner of the space domain. Naturally, this huge amount of cosmic energy also seemed to be infused into his body, being devoured and absorbed by every cell in his body, making it his own. Vaguely, this heaven and earth yuan qi seemed to turn into thousands of yuan qi dragons, pouring into Xia Ping's body and being absorbed by the black hole. This kind of cultivation efficiency was much faster than before. It was like a rock swallowing the spiritual energy of a small world, no matter how much it was, and it didn't reject it. However, such a huge amount of energy could only be withstood by Xiaoping's body. But such a huge amount of energy, only a body like Xiaoping's could withstand. Too strong. Is this the power of a sage from ancient times who comprehended the laws of space? He is simply an unimaginably great person. Corinne on the side was shocked again and again when he saw this scene. It had followed the saints of the stars for a long time, but it had rarely seen existences like the saints of the near ancient times. Saints of the near ancient times were top-notch figures that the saints of the stars could not hope to reach in the past. They could not be mentioned in the same breath. But now Xiaoping, a disciple of the Myriad Star sect, had advanced to the near ancient sage realm. His strength far surpassed that of the former Myriad Star sage. It finally understood why the ancient sages looked down on the immortal saint so much, thinking that he was a rookie who had just stepped into the sage realm. He couldn't even be considered a true sage. Only by comprehending the power of the law of space could one truly embark on the path of comprehending the heavenly way. The gap between the two sides was almost indescribable. Just by looking at the scene of the ancient sages condensing their mana, it was enough to prove that they were not on the same level. Every breath they took was enough to devour a dragon of vitality. It was simply frightening. The current Xiaoping could probably kill a near-ancient saint with brute force alone. He could easily tear apart the space domain of a near-ancient saint and shatter the space barrier. He is indeed very powerful. I have followed Old Master, the Mountain River Saint, for a very long time, but I have never seen such a powerful saint from the near-ancient era. I have never seen such a powerful space domain. Even a saint from the Middle Ages who has mastered the law of time would not be able to easily distort such a space domain. The green ox was also very emotional. It could sense the power of Xiaoping's space domain. First, there was no need to talk about its size. It had expanded to the extent of 400 light-years, which was the size of an ordinary medium-sized world. Most importantly, the space domain's sturdiness was like the embryonic form of a world. If an ordinary space domain collided with it, it would probably be shattered instantly, like an egg smashing into a rock. This was thanks to the help of the World Tree, which made the space domain boundlessly powerful. Perhaps even a saint who had comprehended the existence of the Middle Ages would not be able to easily distort such a space domain with their time domain. It could be said that this already contained a trace of the true essence of the power of the ancient sages. Right, Master? At this time, the green ox seemed to remember something and immediately said, "Previously, you told us to search for the origin bead of scorched earth hell. Now we have found it in the treasuries of the 13 near-ancient demons' territories. Now I have collected them all. Now, it is up to you to fuse with them and completely become the Lord of Scorched Earth Hell." What? You have found the origin bead of Scorched Earth Hell? That's great. Give it to me. When Xiaoping heard this, he opened his eyes, and a look of joy appeared on his face. He had gone to the Scorched Earth Hell, not only to kill near-ancient demons and refine the spatial fruit, but also to refine the Scorched Earth Hell and fuse it with the Burning Hell, making the Burning Hell even stronger. This would also strengthen his infernal Golden Crow bloodline and speed up his cultivation. In fact, every time he fused with the planes of hell, the demons of the original plane would evolve and strengthen his subordinates. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. With that, the green ox immediately took out the 13 origin beads of scorched earth hell and placed them in front of Xiaoping. They were 13 scorched yellow beads, and they seemed to contain countless hellish laws. They were unfathomably deep. Origin beads like these were virtually indestructible. Even if they were destroyed, they would quickly recover. They were also amazing treasures. Fuse them. Xiaoping grabbed the 13 origin beads with one hand and instantly used his powerful divine sense to refine all of them, thoroughly fusing them into one. His own soul imprint was also thoroughly engraved into the depths of the scorched earth hell's essence. Chapter 2346. Boom! In an instant, Xiaoping sensed that his divine sense had completely fused into every corner of the scorched earth hell. He sensed every living being that lived in the scorched earth hell, seeping into every grain of sand. It was as if he had become a god at this moment, looking at the world from the perspective of a god. He looked down from above, feeling the emotions of countless demons. It was as if, with a single thought, he could change the entire scorched earth hell. He could summon the wind and summon the rain. He could make the mountains grow taller and the rivers grow wider. He could cause the seas to turn into mulberry fields. He could easily control any part of the scorched earth hell. This was the true ruler of the infernal scorched lands, a person with unparalleled authority. It could be said that this was almost like the power of the law. It was like a bloodline instinct, and one could naturally grasp it, just like how fish naturally knew how to swim in water. Vaguely, he could sense the complete world laws of the scorched earth hell. Vast amounts of hell's original power poured into his body like a tide. The infernal golden crow cells in his body were awakening at a crazy rate. 100 million, 200 million, 300 million. Now, his power was increasing exponentially. It's time to merge the scorched hell and the burning hell. Thinking of this, Xiaoping did not hesitate and immediately used his authority in the infernal hell. He could vaguely sense the infernal hell in the distance. This was a connection between karma and laws. This connection could be sensed no matter how far away one was in hell. He immediately formed a seal with both hands and activated the source outside of the void crashed down. Walala, the resulting infernal hell would be enough to kill 99% from the infernal hell. This was truly a scorched earth to tremble, with not even a single blade of grass trembled, fused, transforming into a dot of light that seemed to be connected to devils of the infernal realm were shot toward the infernal hell. He performed a hand seal, completely ignoring merging the surrounding void of the two hellish planes into one. The magical laws were pushed aside in the blink of an eye, a unique spatial passageway. Earth. This was the authority of the ruler of the infernal plane. The magical laws of the two hells seemed to have transformed into anywhere, regardless creating of the situation, a powerful gravitational regardless of distance. The two hell planes this authority could only together be used like once a month. There was no barrier at all. A few seconds later, it was as if the two hell planes had always been one spatial tunnel, but someone had forcibly separated them, turning them into two fragments of hell. Look the entire infernal hell there seems to be a plane of hell breaking through the void and became a complete hell plane. What do we do now? All the demons of the infernal hell appeared on the land of the scorched earth. Are they going to collide? The land was expanding. All the demons in the scorched earth hell were expanding, turning into lakes and burning hell breaking through the mountains were rising and blotting out the sun. Reaching into the clouds, they were instantly becoming majestic mountain ranges, thinking that something like a comet had crashed into earth. The original energy of the new hell plane had increased several times over, becoming even denser. It seemed to have filled every corner of the hell plane, so dense that it was visible to the naked eye. All the demons could feel the immense benefits of the hell plane's advancement. Most of the original energy, as well as information from the magical laws of hell, was being poured into their bodies. The stronger the demon's bloodline was, the more benefits they would receive. It was like money was falling from the sky. Heavens, the hell plane has advanced again. It must be the Overlord. Haha, following the Overlord really is good. It hasn't been long, and the hell plane has advanced again. Power. My power is increasing at an unprecedented rate. This is an increase that I wouldn't have been able to achieve in 1,000 years. I'm so grateful to the Overlord. Cut the crap. Hurry up and devour the original energy of the hell plane. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If we miss this opportunity, we won't get another one. We can't waste this opportunity. Countless demons were excited. They had never experienced such a rapid advancement before. In fact, every time a hell plane advanced, the native demons of the hell plane would benefit immensely. However, the advancement of the hell plane was too rare. They might not even get to see it once in their lives. At this moment, all the demons were working hard to devour the original energy of hell, enjoying this rare opportunity. Some demons who had reached a bottleneck were wild with joy. They seized the time to comprehend and gain a breakthrough. However, the one who benefited the most from the advancement of the hell plane was Xiaoping. The two hell planes fused together, and an enormous amount of original energy of hell poured into Xiaoping's body like a tidal wave, entering every cell in his body. His body began to crackle like exploding planets. Every single one of his blood vessels was like the roar of a giant dragon rumbling. His chi and blood had reached an inconceivable level, like an eternal furnace that could incinerate everything. 36 billion. By the time Xia Ping finished devouring the original energy of hell, he had awakened 36 billion golden crow cells in his body. This was an extremely shocking number. Each of the infernal golden crow's cells contained boundless energy. They were like miniature suns. If they exploded, they could easily tear space apart and shatter stars. 36 billion golden crow cells shone at the same time, making Xia Ping's body like an eternal sun. He emitted endless heat, burning the void. This kind of blood energy simply shone through the ages, covering every corner of the successfully fused burning hell, dispelling the darkness of the hell plane. All the demons were bathed in this golden crow light. At this time, Xia Ping could no longer control the golden crow bloodline in his body. Bloodlight shot into the sky, and the mysterious and powerful bloodline power filled every corner of the burning hell, corroding the void. Most of the demons in the burning hell could feel the corrosion of the demonic god's bloodline. This was an irresistible, irreversible, and defenseless power. Chapter 2347. At this moment, countless demons in the newly born burning hell were mutating. Suddenly, the feathers on the back of a flying demon beast ignited and quickly turned into flaming feathers containing the formidable power of fire. At this moment, it seemed to have transformed into a ferocious flaming bird that possessed terrifying lethality. A shark demon was swimming in the boundless ocean. Its entire body swelled up, at least several times larger than before. It was like a mountain, turning into a colossus. The scales on its body shone with a cold black light, as if they had turned into indestructible black metal. They shone with a bright light and were streamlined. There were even numerous hellish runes on them. It seemed to have a trace of the legendary Kuanpeng. A tiger demon standing on a tall mountain roared at the sky. A pair of black flaming wings appeared on its back. With a casual flap, it set off a violent storm that destroyed many small mountains. Its entire body even emitted black flames. The soil around its feet was burned by the flames and turned into magma. It seemed like the entire mountain was melting. The mutations of these demons could be seen everywhere in the burning hell. Each demon's transformation varied greatly. The closer a demon was to Xia Ping, the higher their bloodline, the more changes they would undergo, and the more benefits they would obtain. As demons in the burning hell, they had already experienced these things. They were all extremely excited. Great, it's the Lord's demon god bloodline. Our bodies are transforming into demon gods. Heavens, I was originally just a low-ranked demon, but I obtained a trace of the demon god bloodline. Even ordinary high-ranked demons might not be able to compare to me. Hurry up and get closer to the Lord. The closer we can get to the Lord, the more benefits we will obtain. If our entire bodies can be corroded into the demon god bloodline, then we might become descendants of the demon god. At the very least, we can become dependents. Many demons in the burning hell shouted excitedly. They seemed to be on a pilgrimage, crazily surging in Xia Ping's direction without any regard for their own safety. Although the demons in the scorched hell had never experienced something like this before, they instinctively moved closer to Xia Ping. They instinctively sensed that if they could get close to this mysterious and powerful Lord, it would bring them endless benefits. For a time, all the demons, no matter where they were in the burning hell, frantically approached Necropolis. They didn't care about killing each other. They just hurried on. Xia Ping, on the other hand, was still immersed in his cultivation, ignoring the frenzied demons. The tremendous power of the golden crow of hell's bloodline unconsciously spread out, naturally enveloping the entire burning hell. Currently, a crimson ship was flying through the infernal hell. This ship was called the Crimson Devil, and it was a famous adventurer ship that specialized in exploring new planes of hell. Such a profession was the dream of countless demons in the infernal plane. If any demon discovered a new infernal plane, even if they didn't conquer it, just selling information about it would bring them endless benefits. If he could occupy an unknown infernal plane and become its ruler, he would obtain even more benefits. That was equivalent to becoming a lord of hell, instantly entering the ranks of demon nobles. After all, Most of the resources in high-level infernal plane worlds were occupied by high-level demons. How could the low-level demons have a chance to obtain any benefits? Therefore, countless demons were looking for new infernal plane worlds, and it became one of the most popular professions in hell. It was also a great opportunity for low-level demons to reach the sky in a single step. The Crimson Devil was also a famous demonic ship that had discovered many new infernal plane worlds. The captain of this ship was the Crimson Devil Elder Weiss, a powerful demon in the early Middle Ancient realm, who had already mastered the law of time. He had more than 20 ancient demons, and more than 300 immortal demons. This kind of strength could be considered as an elite adventurer team, which could easily suppress low-level infernal plane worlds and plunder countless resources. In fact, they had already conquered 7 or 8 low-level infernal planes with such strength, and naturally obtained countless benefits and large amounts of resources. Look, Captain Lord Elderweiss. At this moment, a demon in charge of observing shouted excitedly, I discovered a new infernal plane world. Everyone pay attention. I discovered a new low-level infernal plane world. What? We actually discovered a new low-level infernal plane world? Really? Did we see wrongly? There was also a guy who said he discovered a low-level infernal plane world before. But I didn't expect it to be a nest of void monsters. We almost died because of it. It's true, there's no mistake about it. This is really great. We've been sailing in the void of hell for dozens of years, and we haven't seen anything, but we've seen void monsters many times. I didn't expect our luck to take a turn for the better today. Many demons were extremely excited, and they kept howling, as if they couldn't express their excitement if they didn't do this. This was because a new low-level infernal plane world represented boundless wealth. Even if they couldn't get the biggest share, just a little bit was enough to make them overflowing with wealth. Indeed, ahead is a low-level infernal plane world, and it's a plane that has just been promoted. It seems like this country bumpkin hell overlord is quite lucky to have fused with the origin of a few low-level infernal planes. Captain Elderweiss walked over. He revealed a satisfied smile, and a formless domain power enveloped the surrounding void. It was as if time had stopped within the range of the domain. The origin of this infernal plane is too dense. It must be a low-level infernal plane with extremely rich resources. Hee, such a low-level infernal plane world is simply the best prey for us. Let's not talk about the resources of this infernal plane world. Even the countless demons born in this infernal plane world can be captured and sold as slaves for a huge sum of money. Kill. Immediately kill the lord of this infernal plane world, and snatch the origin of this infernal plane world. But it's better for us to be careful. We still don't know how strong the demons of this infernal plane world are. Kiki, no matter how strong the demons of this low-level infernal plane world are, there's still a limit. At most, they're at the near-ancient demon level. Our captain is a middle-ancient demon. He can crush it with a single finger. That's right. We have our captain. With our captain, these country bumpkin demons will all die. Many demons howled excitedly. Their eyes were burning with excitement and fanaticism. Chapter 2348. Fly the spaceship over. At this moment, the ancient demon Elderweiss had a sinister look on his face. Let those demons from the low-level hell planes witness the terror of us high-level demons. Such a hell plane isn't something those bumpkin demons can touch. If anyone dares to resist, kill them immediately. Leave no one alive. A terrifying murderous aura emanated from his body. He was extremely confident. This was because he was an ancient demon, a terrifying existence that had comprehended the laws of time. Such a demon couldn't be born from a low-level hell plane. Therefore, with his strength, he had an absolute advantage in such a low-level hell plane. No demon would dare to say that he was invincible. Yes, Captain. All the demons roared excitedly. They had done similar things 7 or 8 times. With the power of Captain Elderweiss, they were invincible in the low-level hell plane. Of course, for the middle-level hell plane, Elderweiss wasn't much. He was only a relatively powerful demon. However, They wouldn't provoke the demons from the middle-level hell plane. They would always look for the weaker ones to pinch. Clearly, this low-level hell plane was a pushover. Swoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, the spaceship flew toward the burning hell and rapidly approached. At this moment, Xiaoping was in Fengdu City in the burning hell. He had finally finished devouring all the hell's origin energy and completely converted it into his own power. In particular, he had awakened a total of 36 billion hell golden crow cells, which raised his power to a terrifying level. Every move he made contained the might of a demon god. It was as if every drop of blood in his body contained a dark golden talisman. Countless drops of blood gathered together, like a supreme scripture about the hell golden crow. The hell golden crow flames burned in his body, releasing endless light that enveloped the entire burning hell. Every demon could bathe in the light of the sun, as if they were bestowed with infinite vitality. The entire burning hell was filled with vitality, as if many hellish plants were slowly being born. At this moment, Xiaoping suddenly opened his eyes. His divine sense covered a radius of 400 light-years, fusing into every part of the void as if they were one. That was why he immediately sensed a crimson ship flying toward the infernal hell. The demons on the ship were extremely powerful, more powerful than all the demons in the infernal hell combined. This was because the captain of this spaceship had reached the early ancient middle realm and had completely comprehended the time law. Just this medieval demon alone was invincible, and not many demons could contend against it. It could be said that no matter how many near-ancient demons there were, they would not be a match for a middle ancient demon that had comprehended the law of time. That was because the primeval fiends, who had comprehended the time laws, could create a time domain that could freeze all primeval fiends, rendering them incapable of moving. It was easy to imagine that when these ancient demons faced the ancient demons, it was like a little white rabbit facing a lion. The difference was too great, and it could not be calculated with numbers. In addition to the ancient fiend devils, there were also more than 20 near primeval fiend devils, and more than 300 undying fiend devils. This was a force strong enough to sweep through any low-level hellish plane. To think that they want to invade the infernal hell. They've got some guts. But it's just as well. I can use this middle ancient demon to test my strength. Xiaoping's eyes flashed coldly. If he had not broken through, he would have had to retreat if he encountered the middle ancient demon. But after becoming a near ancient demon and comprehending the space law, he was many times stronger than before. He could not even be mentioned in the same breath as before. Even if the middle ancient demon was extremely strong and had comprehended the time law, it was not impossible for him to fight it with his current strength. At the thought of this, Xiaoping did not hesitate. He sat in Necropolis and made his move immediately. The battlefield could not be in the infernal hell. Otherwise, the middle ancient demon's strength would be enough to destroy the entire plane. Therefore, he had to open up the battlefield in the infernal hell. Boom! In an instant, Xiaoping slammed his palm towards the crimson spaceship. Bloodline mystic art, infernal golden crow claw. Suddenly, a dark golden claw appeared out of thin air. This dark golden claw was even larger than the sun, blotting out the sun. It was completely condensed from dark golden flames and filled with densely packed golden crow runes. It exuded an aura of eternity, destruction, chaos, and so on. This claw was like an infernal golden crow appearing out of thin air. It was like a supreme fiend god had descended, wanting to crush the sun, destroy countless stars, and tear space apart. Damn it! Which fellow dares to attack my crimson devil? You're courting death, courting death. Elder Weiss's expression changed drastically. He could clearly feel a gigantic claw coming from the depths of this low-level hellish plane. The power of this attack was extremely terrifying. It could tear apart space, tear apart heaven and earth, and suppress the universe. If the Crimson Devil was hit by this claw, it would definitely be torn apart. At that time, who knew how many fiend devils in the spaceship would be crushed to death and burned to ashes? Most importantly, this spaceship could be said to be priceless as countless secret treasures had been added to it. This was also the reason why they could run amok in the infernal hell. If it was destroyed now, they might not even be able to return home. They could only drift in the infernal hell forever. Time stop, Elder Weiss roared. With his body as the center, a huge time realm surged out, covering a radius of 10 light years. In an instant, under the cover of this realm, all the fiend devil's movements came to a halt. Even the flow of time seemed to have been reduced to its weakest state. The dark golden claw also stopped in the void, as if it had fallen into a swamp. No matter how much strength it expended, it could not move a meter forward. Obliterate! Elder Weiss immediately flew out of the spaceship and smashed his fist through the void. It shook time and space, twisting the universe. It was as if thousands of volcanoes had exploded at the same time. With a boom, the dark golden claw was immediately shattered and turned into nothingness. This is the time realm? As expected of a medieval demon. He's so much stronger than a modern demon. Xiaoping exclaimed. This was the first time he had seen a medieval demon in action. The ability to stop time was really unfathomable. Once one was controlled by the time realm, no matter how strong one was, one would only be a fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. Only time could fight against time. Chapter 2349. Looks like I can't fight these demons in the burning hell. Otherwise, the entire burning hell will be destroyed. Thinking of this, Xiaoping's figure flashed and instantly left Fengdu City, arriving outside the burning hell. This speed was similar to teleportation. It completely ignored space and easily shuttled through the layers of space. This speed was much faster than before. If his previous speed was that of a bicycle, then his current speed was that of an airplane. There was no comparison at all. If this speed happened in a battle, he could end the battle in 1 second. The difference between those who had comprehended the law of space and those who hadn't was too great. Whoosh! In the next second, Xiaoping's figure appeared in front of the Crimson Devil, facing the group of uninvited guests from afar. Their auras collided, creating a terrifying pressure. You're the overlord of this low-level plane of hell? The ancient demon Elder Weiss narrowed its eyes and stared at Xiaoping. It felt unbelievable, because it could sense that the kid in front of it had just ascended to the near-ancient saint realm, a rookie who had just comprehended the law of space. But that claw just now forced it to block it personally, or else the Crimson Devil would definitely be destroyed. A small ancient demon, one that had just entered the ancient era, was able to force a medieval demon into such a sorry state. It was unbelievable. Although it looked down on low-level demons, it wasn't the reckless kind. To be able to survive in the void for so long, it relied on caution. Before understanding this strange demon's background, it felt that it was better not to act rashly. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this moment, all the demons on the Crimson Devil ship flew out. They were also afraid that a battle would cause the ship to be destroyed. If that happened, they might not be able to travel again, and repairing it would be troublesome. That's right. I'm the overlord of the burning hell, Fengdu. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back and looked at the group of uninvited guests indifferently. You came so aggressively with killing intent and malice. What are you trying to do in my territory? Idiot. A near-ancient demon looked at Xiaoping with disdain. Don't you know what we're trying to do? We're robbing you. We're eyeing your territory. Get out of here immediately. It was full of killing intent and didn't hold back at all. You're right. Don't think that we're robbers, but our fees are reasonable. If you can pay enough compensation, I can let you continue to be the lord of this inferior plane of hell. Another ancient demon shouted. There was a cunning look in its eyes. It seemed like it wanted to extort a sum of money from the demon lord Fengdu before it seized this plane of hell. Maybe it could extort some precious treasures. Of course, even if this guy really paid all the compensation, they wouldn't let this Fengdu off. Robbery. Xiaoping clasped his hands behind his back and said, You want to rob others with your mediocre skills? You must be joking. I advise you not to go astray. If you stop now, I can let you go. Otherwise, all of you will die. Don't blame me for not reminding you. Let me go. A puny ancient demon dares to talk big? Any ancient demon beside me can paralyze half of your body. And you dare to be so arrogant in front of me, Elder Weiss. Hearing this, ancient demon Elder Weiss laughed loudly. Looks like you've been in the countryside for too long. You don't know what a truly powerful demon is like. I, Elder Weiss, am a middle ancient demon. A supreme demon who has comprehended the law of time. A bumpkin like you can't compare to me. How dare you threaten me? I'll kill you right now. A powerful aura gushed out, practically capable of destroying the heavens and earth, shaking the void. Lord Elder Weiss, you don't have to do anything. That's right. Our subordinates can take care of this bumpkin demon. Fighting with trash like this is a complete disgrace to your status, Lord Elder Weiss. Attack. Slaughter this foolish fiend. Show it the terror of a fiend from a higher plane of hell. In an instant, more than 20 ancient demons roared and attacked at the same time, using their spatial domains. Rumbled one after another, the spatial domains came down, stacking on top of each other. It was as if countless layers of space had been stacked on top of each other, as if countless spatial seals had been applied. Ordinary demons would immediately be suppressed and unable to move. At this moment, the void around them was distorted, and layers of spatial barriers appeared everywhere. It was as if a spatial maze had been formed. If ordinary demons were trapped inside, they would never be able to leave. Kill. Xiaoping's eyes flashed with a cold light. He did not move at all. His own spatial domain shot out, instantly covering the void within a radius of 400 light-years. Moreover, the power of the spatial domain fiercely crashed into the enemy, like a comet crashing into the earth. Bang, bang, bang. Instantly, the spatial domains formed by more than 20 ancient demons shattered like eggs. Facing Xiaoping's almost solidified spatial domain, these ordinary ancient demons simply could not compare. The collision between the two was like an egg smashing into a rock. Not to mention 20 eggs. Even 100 or 1,000 eggs would not be able to smash the rock. This was not a problem of quantity, but purely a problem of quality. There was simply no comparison. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 ancient demons let out pitiful screams. This was because the spatial domain they created was crushed like glass by Xiaoping, completely torn apart. It should be known that the so-called spatial domain was a special power formed by the fusion of the soul, magical power, spatial laws, and various other powers. It was equivalent to the manifestation of the soul's essence. If the spatial domain was torn apart on the spot, it would be transmitted to the souls of the ancient demons, which was equivalent to tearing apart their souls. One could imagine how much pain these ancient demons felt. It was as if they had been subjected to 10 great tortures. Their souls felt like they were being bitten by millions of ants, and they were suffering a crazy backlash. One after another, the ancient demons could not bear it. They spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot, and their bodies were sent flying. It was as if their internal organs had been severely injured. In just one collision, these ancient demons were completely defeated. They could not fight back at all. The spatial domain that Xiaoping had displayed was simply terrifying. It was enough to completely crush these ancient demons, and they did not even have the courage to resist. Third Sect Master. Chapter 2350. Impossible. How could a country bumpkin be so strong? Just one clash of domains, and we were all heavily injured. What kind of joke is this? One of the demons couldn't accept such a ridiculous thing. After all, they were demons from the higher planes of hell. They were born with powerful bloodlines and powerful combat abilities. They had obtained countless inheritances from hell, and had a deep foundation. For a long time, they had been able to sweep through all of the low-level hell planes devils, and had always been successful in every endeavor. But now, more than 20 ancient fiends had joined forces, yet they were instantly defeated by a country bumpkin, who had just entered the ancient era, and comprehended the law of space not too long ago. This made them doubt their lives. Damn it! What kind of spatial domain is this? How wide is it? Why can't I sense the border? Some of the demons were dumbfounded. Their spatial domains could only cover a few light years at most. Although this was not the first time imagine
these
a
demons
spatial
had seen
domain
their captain
with
Elvis
a diameter of
use the
400
realm of
light
time.
years. They were shocked every time they saw it.
Meters.
This
or
was
a
the
few
great
hundred
power
meters.
of the gods.
The unit of
When
measurement
facing
was
this time
light
domain,
years.
the
They
demons
were
were like
fish
fish
in the
that
ocean.
didn't have the
They
slightest
didn't know how
ability
big the
to fight
ocean
back,
was,
and
they
they
could
could
only
only
know
be
where the
suppressed
end
to
of it
death.
was.
Perhaps
It's
they
one
would be
thing for it to
instantly
have
annihilated
large
and
range,
transformed
but it's
into
also
ash.
very sturdy.
Compared to
Xiaoping's
it,
heart moved.
our space
When
domain
this
is like
terrifying
glass,
time domain
shattering
invaded
upon
him.
contact.
He immediately
Just how
felt
did
a
it condense?
fatal-killing intent.
It's like the
If his
embryonic
body was
form of a
stopped,
world.
then he could only
Some of the
stretch out
demons
his
were
neck
in
and
despair.
He
What kind of
circulated his
monster
space
had they
domain with
encountered?
all his might.
How could a
And
demon
the
who
world
had just
tree
entered the
trembled
ancient
slightly.
era be so
Countless
terrifying?
roots extended
He was
to every corner
unreasonable
of the
and
space
didn't have any
barrier,
common sense.
constantly
They could
strengthening
feel
every
his
space.
overwhelming power.
A huge amount
Even
of
though they were
dimensional
demons
energy
of the
leaked
same
from
level,
these roots,
they couldn't compare.
filling every place.
It was like
causing
comparing
an
an
elephant
elephant
to an
space
ant,
domain to be
a
as
bunch
firm
of
as a
trash.
rock.
You
Boom.
can't even deal
When
with
the
a
time
country
domain
bumpkin.
bombarded over,
Get out of my
it
way.
instantly covered
I can kill
Xiaoping's
ants
space
like you
domain.
with a wave of my
This
hand.
corrosive power of
Elder
time was
Weiss
extremely
shouted.
invasive.
He was really angry.
Trying to completely
The 20 or
distort
so
the law of
demons had been
Xiaoping's space
defeated by a
domain,
little country
or even
bumpkin.
imprison it.
They were so scared
Impossible,
that they vomited blood.
But in the next second,
this was a disgrace
Elvis's
to Elder
eyes
Weiss.
widened in
If he
disbelief,
didn't get back at them,
because he suddenly
wouldn't have
found
any
that when
face
his
left.
time domain tried
Countless
to erode
high-level
Xiaoping's
demons would
space
laugh at
domain,
him,
and
it was
say
very
that his
difficult
subordinates
to do
were
so.
all trash.
It was as if he
Boom.
wanted to stop
In
a
an
lesser
instant,
Kiliakasm.
Elder Weiss did not
Although
waste any
ordinary
time.
medieval demons
His
could
time
stop
domain
objects
immediately
in an area
enveloped
by
the area,
operating the time
covering
domain.
a radius of
To
tens
stop
of
the
light
flow
years.
of time of
Time
everything in a
stood
lesser
still.
Kiliakasm.
Immediately,
The energy
the flow
and the
of
power
time
of
within
the
a
law of
radius
time
of
needed
several
was
dozen
simply
light
astronomical.
years immediately
In an
came
instant,
to a standstill.
it was enough to
It was
exhaust
as if
the magic
everything in the
power
world
of a
had
medieval
stopped
demon.
flowing at this
Even
moment.
a medieval demon
Unable
who
to
had
move
reached
at
the
all.
peak of the Middle
Even
Ages
these demons were
couldn't
suppressed by the
completely
power
stop
of
the
time
law of
a
time.
lesser
The mana in their
Kiliakasm for a
bodies
few
couldn't
seconds.
flow.
This
And only
was
because
because
the range
consciousness
was
could
simply
operate.
too large.
Too strong.
Every time it expanded a certain distance, it required an astronomical amount of magic power. And Xiaoping's space domain was a full 400 light years, comparable to a lesser Kiliakasm. Therefore, it was impossible for the medieval demon Elvis to completely imprison Xiaoping's space domain. At the same time, the space domain on his body was also extremely powerful. With the help of the Tree of World, the laws of the space domain were extremely perfect. If the medieval demon wanted to imprison it, it would need to consume even more energy. One could imagine that when the medieval demon Elvis's time domain enveloped him, he was shocked to find that his magic power was being consumed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even his vitality was being rapidly consumed. He felt like a child trying to carry a rock that weighed several tons. It was like an ant trying to shake a tree. He was overestimating himself. Of course, for a medieval demon, it was very easy to stop the flow of time for thousands of kilometers. It didn't need to be too long either. 1 second was enough for him to kill all his enemies. But to stop the time of a lesser Kiliakasm, with a diameter of 400 light years, was a fool's dream. Damn it! How can a little ancient demon from the countryside have such a powerful space domain? It can't even shake the time domain of the ancient demon. With a whooshing sound, the medieval demon Elvis felt his vitality being rapidly consumed. He was scared half to death, and immediately did not dare to use the supreme magical power of time stop. He immediately stopped and looked at Xiaoping with extreme vigilance. He was bewildered and seemed to be wondering what kind of demon this was, and why he was so powerful. Indeed, he can contend against the medieval demon's time domain. Seeing this situation, Xiaoping immediately smiled. Previously, he was still feeling uneasy, thinking that he did not have the means to contend against the medieval demon. But now, he was immediately relieved. The space domain on his body was too powerful, and had an extremely wide range. It was not something that an ordinary medieval demon's time domain could shake. Trying to control him in an instant? Dream on. Chapter 2351. I'll ask you again. What kind of demon are you? Where did you come from? The medieval demon Elder Weiss narrowed his eyes and stared at Xiaoping. He was beginning to feel that this demon was very mysterious. Although he came from a rural plane of hell, his power was unusual. Perhaps he had some special relationship with an ancient almighty from a high-level plane of hell. Otherwise, how could a small ancient demon resist a medieval demon like him? This was simply unimaginable. He could not help but suspect the demon's identity. I'm Fengdu, the Lord of the Burning Hell. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back. But are you really a medieval demon who understood the law of time? Why are you so weak that you can't even shake my space domain? Don't tell me you're a fake, someone who broke through purely by luck? He looked at Elder Weiss suspiciously. Bullshit. Seeing Xiaoping's suspicious and disdainful look, Elder Weiss could not take it anymore. He scolded, You're the fake. Your whole family is fake. Who are you talking about? Don't think that you can be arrogant just because your space domain is a little bigger. The power of a medieval demon is not something a rural demon like you can imagine. Even if I can't control you with time stop, as a medieval demon, do you think that's all I have? Killing you will only take a little more effort. Die. He flew into a rage out of humiliation, and immediately charged at Xiaoping. Swoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, the medieval demon Elder Weiss figure flashed and instantly disappeared. Time acceleration. This was the time domain ability unique to medieval demons. Not only could they temporarily stop time, but they could also speed up the flow of time around them. If they could shorten the time around them from 10 seconds to 1 second, even if their original speed did not change,
it would be equivalent to 10 times faster than before. After reaching the level of a medieval demon, their speed was unbelievably fast, and they could easily cross countless dimensions. But now they could speed up the flow of time. This speed was not something ancient demons could compare with. Indeed, with the strength of the medieval demon Elder Weiss, he could not speed up the flow of time by 10 times, but he could speed it up to 3 times, reducing 3 seconds to 1 second, and increase his own speed by 3 times. Furthermore, it was not an increase from 1 meter per second to 3 meters per second. Instead, it was an increase from the speed of light to 3 times the speed of light. The difference was huge. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, the ancient demon Elder Weiss charged at Xiaoping. Dense shadows appeared in a radius of dozens of light years. These were the afterimages left behind by its extreme speed. Ordinary demons would not be able to tell which of these afterimages was its true body. Ha! Xiaoping activated the infernal golden crow's eyes. These 2 pairs of eyes were like satellites, displaying a 3D image. They were able to see everything within a radius of 400 light years, including all directions. Although the speed of the ancient demon Elder Weiss was indeed fast, it still managed to fool his eyes. Xiao! In the next second, Xiaoping teleported hundreds of light years away with a thought. This was the great advantage of the space domain. Ordinary near-ancient sages could only teleport a few light years away, but middle-ancient sages could travel dozens of light years in a flash. How could near-ancient sages compare? Boom! Just as Xiaoping's figure was about to leave, the ancient demon Elder Weiss blasted a punch towards him. An evil and terrifying fist force instantly exploded, shattering the void and producing an unparalleled destructive power. Even if it was an ancient demon, its body would be torn apart and severely injured on the spot. Damn it, he dodged it. The pupils of the ancient demon Elder Weiss constricted. He could not believe his eyes. With a supreme divine ability like time acceleration, he could instantly kill ordinary near-ancient demons. There was no way he could fight against him. However, this demon Fengdu was so terrifying that he could see through his attack. Furthermore, he was faster than him, and dodged his punch in advance. My God, is there any justice in this world? When did the near-ancient demons become so abnormal? He immediately felt envy and jealousy. He wanted to capture this demon Fengdu alive, dig out all the secrets on him, and take them for himself. Boom! At this moment, Xiaoping also made his move. Youthful Dharch Longevity Art. He activated the supreme Youthful Dharch Longevity Art. A huge amount of what elemental Yuan Qi was infused into his space domain, and into the world tree that covered every corner of the space domain. Whoosh! Suddenly, a huge, majestic shadow of the world tree appeared in the void, spanning 400 light years. It emitted the aura of chaos, nothingness, myth, eternity, unshakable, and so on. Its branches were indomitable and extended to every dimensional space. Its roots pierced into the void, as if it had complete control over the void, and formed an absolute spatial barrier. Countless leaves on the branches swayed, and a huge and dense spatial aura filled the air. It was as if countless talismans of the world had gathered together to form a supreme scripture. All the demons could feel the greatness of this tree. It was as if they had encountered the shadow of a demon god. They wanted to crawl down and worship it like a totem. Damn it, what is this thing? In an instant, the ancient demon Elder Weiss' hair stood on end. He felt a huge threat from the sudden appearance of this tree. Every cell in his body was alerted. In front of this huge tree, he was like an ant. Whoosh! 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 Before he could think of anything, the world tree trembled slightly. Hundreds of millions of roots blasted toward the ancient demon Elder Weiss, tearing the void and covering the sky. Each root contained the power of the law of chaos. It was indestructible. It was like a god-slaying spear, and the surrounding void energy was completely repelled. If hit, Elder Weiss' body would be turned into a beehive, and he would die without a whole corpse. Time deceleration. At this extremely dangerous moment, the ancient demon Elder Weiss let out a furious roar and unleashed his time domain. The area within a radius of 10 light years was covered by his time domain. Suddenly, All the roots of the world tree entered the range of the time domain. They immediately slowed down and moved as slow as a snail. No one knew how long it would take for them to reach the ancient demon Elder Weiss. This was the third use of the time domain, time deceleration. After advancing to the Middle Ancient Realm and comprehending the law of time, apart from stopping time and accelerating time, he could also slow time down. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.